Good evening, HTC family, batch 3, and welcome to week number 3. This is Desmond Soon, and if you're new joining us, go ahead and type in the chat. Now, the chat has been moved. We are now using a new system where we are using our chat on Facebook. So if you're listening into this call, or if you are on your computer, what you want to do is you want to make sure you open up the Facebook group and you want to go over there. There's a pinned post. A pinned post means it's right at the very top. And what it should look like, I'll just read it out to you. It should say, you should see an image that's got lots of money. I'm sure a lot of you want that money. But it's going to say the one call closer methodology that will get you paid on command. That's the main chat, right? Now, that is where we're going to be posting your comments. Now, why do we do that? For some of you, when we talked about this last week, we implemented it. There's several reasons, but one of the main reasons is that Sifu, Dan Locke, our mentor, your mentor, really wants to be able to go back and read every single comment. And last week, we had an outstanding 4,000 comments and engagement, and Sifu took the time to read every single one of them. In fact, many of you might have had a response from him, a comment or a like, or he might have said something back to you, and that's just his way of giving back and showing you that he pays attention to every single thing that you say. So I'm now looking in the chat. I'm just going to refresh my screen here just to make sure that I'm seeing the latest comment. But before my screen populates, why don't we do what we usually do? Because we bring things together. We call this the HTC family. You're going to learn things tonight that allow you to have strength in numbers, right? The biggest problem I found when I was an entrepreneur, true story, was I worked really well in corporate environment. I'd been in military. I'd worked in teams and task force. But when I became an entrepreneur, one of the things that really struck me was this whole laptop lifestyle, this whole work from home. It's a very, very lonely place. And some of you may work, at your jobs or your businesses, your professional, your consultants. That's great, but there's also a handful of our members which are also aspiring entrepreneurs. And sometimes as a small business owner, it's a very lonely place working by yourself. This is the community that provides you that feedback, that provides you that accountability, that provides you that support, that provides you that, really doesn't put up with your bullshit. Right? Because sometimes we tell ourselves lies, and we already covered that in week 1 and 2 about telling ourselves lies and how to get rid of that. But this is where that community helps out. So yes, I see people coming in, chiming in. I see Elizabeth, I see Kev, I see Mook, Mock. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Mock. Let me know if I butchered that or if I said that incorrectly. Okay? And I do hear a chime, and whenever I hear that chime, I know any minute now I'm going to hear the booming voice of the one call closer. Is that Kayvon on the line?
It is Kayvon. What is going on? I didn't hear anything you were talking about, so not sure what you were touching base on there, Desmond.
I was just throwing you under the bus, man.
Nice. That's what we do here. What else?
Really what I was covering was about how tonight you're going to learn a lot about the HTC family. I covered about the chat and how we have the new chat in Facebook and why Sifu wants that there and how he goes through and reads every single 4,000 comment that we had there from last week. So those are the two main ones I've covered so far. There is another one that's really bugging me right now, but if you want to say something first, I'll let you go ahead.
Well, I will. You know what? I'll take the heat for you a little bit. The reason why it's bothering Desmond because he asked week 2, I believe, and I believe he even asked in week 1, and that is that we still have people who are part of our group that have not put their picture on their Facebook profile. So, when I see that, I think, okay, are these people coachable? Are they afraid to show their face? What's really going on? Because at the end of this course, I get a lot of emails saying, "Hey, Kayvon, what is it that you need? What is it that I need to do to be part of your team? Hey, Kayvon, I'm really eager. What do I got to do?" But then I see things like you not doing a simple task like putting your picture on your Facebook profile. I think, well, if they can't do that, how are they going to close a $10,000 deal? How are they going to close a $20,000 deal? And what I wanted to allude to, actually, Desmond, I'll let you jump in there first. if you have anything.
I just muted myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I made a post just literally before we got on here because Sifu even asked me, right? And he said, Desmond, how's that going? And I said, sadly, I actually count 20 members, 20, and some of them actually have been in our program for quite some time. So I'm gonna give people the benefit of doubt. This could be a Facebook era, that you probably uploaded a profile picture, and it doesn't have to be a super professional one. I'm hearing comments and excuses from people that say, "Oh, Desmond, I'll get to it when I get a professional photo." Get a photo up. Use your phone, take a picture of your face and put it up. Start with that first, then you can put up a professional photo later when you get around to it. We're not saying to put up a professional photo right away.
No.
That being said, don't put up a photo of your cat. Don't put up a photo of, some beach. Don't put up a photo of some quote. Why? Because as Sifu has always said, how you do something is how you do everything. How you do anything is how you do everything, right? And
how you do anything is how you do everything.
There you go. How do you do it? So if you can't even do a simple thing like Kayvon says here as getting your profile and representing yourself here well, I think there's deeper issues there. You might have to ask yourself, what lies are you telling yourself? Why are you not doing it? Do you have something to hide? Do you not want to get gigs? What would be the reason why you wouldn't want to put up a professional photo of yourself or even just a basic photo of yourself? Are you lazy? Are you disorganized? Are you procrastinating? Those are not qualities of a high-ticket closer. So I'm going to leave it at that. I want to kick off on a good note because a lot of good, exciting things, and I know Kayvon's got a lot of things to share, especially Sifu's got a lot of stuff, amazing things that you guys are going to blow your minds with. So I'm going to pass it off to Kayvon, and I'll leave it at that.
And we heard that chime. So before I do bring in our leader, our mentor, our Sifu, I just want to say tonight is so important when it comes to the art of high-ticket selling now. We're really diving into the how, the fundamentals. I really suggest that you take everything we're going to teach you tonight with a little bit of a grain of salt and ask yourself, how does it reflect what I'm doing today? How can it reflect what I'm doing tomorrow? Because we're going to really dive into this stuff, and I can guarantee you this. If you haven't seen this week 3 before, you have not seen this information anywhere. This information you are going to receive tonight is so handily the reason why I went from losing $25,000 a month to earning $25,000 a month. Now, put in the comments right now and tell me who wants to earn $25,000 a month. And while you're doing that, it is my honor, it is my duty, and every week it is my obligation to present to you, to announce the one and only Mr. Dan Lok.
Thank you, Kayvon. You see, I have a habit of mine that every single time when I go up to the stage, if you've seen my TEDx video, behind the scenes video, I would go touch every chair and every seat of the entire place before I go up on stage. So I actually do that also for every class as well. So you notice in the last kind of 5, 10, 20 minutes, in the last half an hour, I was in a Facebook group, I was replying to different comments, and I was reading through your comments because the reason I do that is so that I can connect with you. That I can look at your face, and I kind of have that mental connection. I want to make that mental connection before I teach the class and jump onto the class. And I felt that as a speaker, as a teacher, that has helped me. And later on, you'll see why when you're closing, when you're talking to a prospect, I'll show you a process as well. Why that is helpful when you put a face to the voice. So that's just what I do. So let me ask you this question. How many of you been doing your homework? I noticed you have been having a lot of fun with the money game. I see some very, very creative photos, and it seems like you're having so much fun. So that's fantastic. What about the money beliefs? Share with me, comment in Facebook about while you're going through the money beliefs, your programming, or your association with money. While you were doing that exercise, what have you learned about your past or present relationship with money? Jam is saying, I haven't got my homework done yet. Hey, you know what, Jam, thank you for your honesty. Make sure you get it done this week. I want to see. It's liberating, conflicting belief. Joey is saying, okay. Ryan said you have to work for it. Henry is saying how much I've grown. Very, very good. Aaron is saying it came down to I want to be more comfortable with money. Okay. And the more I dug into my memory, the more I realized that 95% of my life has been filled with limiting money beliefs. I realized my money blocks are rooted to my parents, many negatives. Good, good, good. What about when you are playing the money game, when you were just throwing money around and make it rain and do all kinds of creative stuff with money? What did you learn from that? Put in the comment box. Nathan is saying, I realize I'm not too comfortable with money and I need to get used to being around it. Good. You need to get comfortable with money. Good. Limiting beliefs. Okay. You feel silly. Good. I fell in love with money. I like that. Not to be scared about losing it. Now, a lot of people sometimes when they play this game of money, they will. How many of you don't actually have a lot of cash like around? Like in your wallet, you just carry plastics, credit cards, but you actually don't have cash. You don't have that habit. Or in your house, you're not used to have that much cash around, right? And you're afraid of losing it. You're just like, oh no, I just used my credit card, right? I don't want to use cash, right? I can collect points. Or you've had bad experience where you have lost money in the past. Let me share this with you.
And I was guilty of all of the things that you just mentioned there, right? Until I met you.
Well,
even
talk about it.
Recently, right? Do you remember? Because I lost money, right? I lost so much money. I started to lose confidence in myself. And of course, then there's also my parents, right? Very scarcity mindset. You know, the whole money doesn't grow on trees. My dad wanting to turn off lights. The house is like 15 degrees or like 12 degrees Celsius, you know, because he's trying to save energy. Even though we got energy saving bulbs and stuff like that, he would try to prolong the energy saving bulbs by turning off the lights. We have a heated floor in the bathroom, but we never turn it on because it's using up money and stuff like that. They would drive down to the States to put in gas just to save the few dollars. So even for myself, you know, after losing the $500,000 in Japan, and then, you know, my wife and I also almost going bankrupt with the restaurants, losing more investor money, I started to actually secretly, I think, subconsciously lose confidence in myself in managing money. And you know that I was also mentored a little bit by Robert Kiyosaki, you know, in a very distant way, but he was one of the first guys to wake me up to the fact that I needed to change the way I thought about money. And then after being around you, Dan, oh my God, some of the members have seen some of the posts we've been doing recently, how we've gone out and hung out and did a lot of affluent stuff, the HQ, the suits, the buying of things, you know, even buying courses or taking training. You've really woken me up to, you know, the abundance, and it's changed my life. But I used to have credit cards in my wallet, all of them maxed out, so they were useless. I'd have like $2 left on one card, $2 left on another card. You know, I would purposely ring the card through the machine, praying to God that it would actually go through, knowing that it was already maxed out. I would also have no money in my wallet, and then here's the worst part of all. Now, I love recycling, guys. I'm very big on the recycling and saving the planet and stuff, and I teach that, but I was telling my kids a lie because I would actually recycle just to get the few dimes or, you know, nickels from saving the cans and things like that for my kids. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm just teaching my kids how to like recycle and be good for the planet. When actually I'd be like getting, you know, collect $1 just so I can go buy some food with that dollar. Yeah, it was horrible. I used to be like that.
And it's not so much about just the game. The game is designed, what's the word? Designed to teach you something about yourself and your relationship with money. Making money is a game. I'll say that again. Making money, it is a game. It is a game that you play seriously. As you're playing around with money, coins or paper, it's just a fucking piece of paper. Nothing more than that. Then why is it such an emotionally charged subject? Why are we so emotionally attached to this thing? We are afraid of it. We are afraid of losing it. We are afraid of whatever it is. It's just a piece. If I give you right now a blank piece of paper, would you have that much emotions around that piece of paper? You wouldn't. Suddenly, I print some ink and put some letters on it. Suddenly, I don't know. So it's designed to teach you something about yourself while you're playing that. Now, how many of you also, when you took out the money from the teller or ATM or even when you did the exercise, that you felt a little bit weird, or people think you are weird, or a little bit hokey? How many of you experienced that? Put in the comment box. Let me tell you this. I would rather be hokey and weird and strange and rich than be very cool and hip and broke. A lot of what we do, it's a little bit strange. It's a little bit out of the box. It's a little bit like, Of course. Because we do what most people do, we're going to have what most people have, which is not a whole lot. So think about the behavior about if you don't have cash on you, what is that telling your subconscious mind? So let's say you don't carry cash around. Every single time you open your wallet, multiple times a day, it's empty, you have a plastic. What is it telling your subconscious mind? I have no money. I have no cash. I always have no money. Because every single time I open a wallet, there's a validation. I've got no money. Right? Or you have some money into it and you're afraid, I'm going to lose it. What if I lose it? What does that tell your subconscious mind? I'm not good with money. I'm a slave to money. I'm not good at managing it. I'm not good at controlling it. I'm not good at handling it. So make sure, man, better not have any cash on me. Better not have any cash. Put in the bank. That's safe. You don't even fucking believe in yourself if you have some money in your wallet. Or your mind is saying, well, what if I lose it? Oh my God, I've got then if I have $300 in my wallet, I lose it, it's going to be a big deal, and it's going to be like this. Oh my God, I can't. I feel so stupid. What is that telling your subconscious mind? It's telling your subconscious mind, well, if I lose the whatever money I've got in my wallet, that's it. I'm not good at making it. I can't make it back. It'll be a disaster. I don't believe in my own ability to make more money. That's what you're telling your subconscious mind. It has nothing to do with that fucking piece of paper. I'm talking about your perspective and your relationship with money. So think about that. When you open up your drawer, if you follow my work, you watch some of my YouTube videos, open my drawer, I've got so many wealth triggers around me. It's not even funny. I've got so many things. I've got a gold bar. I've got all kinds of this stuff, right? Definitely. One time we were filming some stuff. The
we used the gold bar as
the door wouldn't close, right?
We used the gold bar as a door stopper. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That was hilarious. Yeah.
It just I said, well, we can't stop the door. I said, well, I'll use this and just stuff the gold bar right there on the floor.
Speaking of gold bars, Dan, actually, so you saw the one I took the picture. I went and bought a 1 ounce gold bar, right, which is pretty small, right? And I put it in my wallet. But the day I bought it, I was like thinking, I gotta hide this somewhere. It's a freaking 1 ounce gold bar. I mean, it's about $1,700, going rate. But I was like, I gotta get a safe. I gotta go I was like, what the shit? Just put it in your damn wallet like a card, man. It's not gonna get lost. Who cares? What the shit? It's only $1,700. But it was a new step for me because I never walked around with gold on me. Not like that. Maybe I know I got some African American friends that they got these Jesus pieces as they call it, right? Like these big giant, they look like rappers and they got like the big giant on their neck. But yeah, I'm like I don't walk around with gold till I put that gold bar, that 1 ounce gold bar in my wallet. It felt good.
That's what I'm talking about. It's just a gold bar. It doesn't define who I am. And if I lose it, it's not gonna be Oh, okay. Oh my God, that's the end of my financial future. That's it. I'm done. I can never make more. Oh my God, I'll bankrupt. All this stuff. It's just a few hundred fucking dollars. It's not a big deal. It's a few $1,000s. It's not a big deal. If you think it's a big deal, how are you gonna make a lot of money? That's what I want you to understand. That the belief that you have around money. Isn't that interesting? A simple game. A simple, silly little game. It's not silly. There's actually a very deep meaning behind it. Hey, let's throw some money around. How do you feel about that? The truth. How do you feel about that? All the emotions, all the truth will come out. And as you carry some more money around, you will feel it. You're like, do you get nervous? Do you take the money from the bank, you play around with it, immediately you put it back because you're so afraid? How do you feel? And all I want to do is just point it out. There's no right, there's no wrong. My job as your Sifu is just to point it out. And then I make you look at it. Well, what does that say about you? What does that say about your belief? That's all. And you look at it and you think about it. The biggest thing I want to teach you is to teach you how to think, as I said in week 1. I can change the way you think. I can change the way that you take action and you behave. And if I can change the way that you behave, then you get a different result. But it has to start very fundamentally the way you think about things, not just techniques. And today we're going to talk about closing. The first 2 weeks, week 1 and week 2, we talked about the why. Now, the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about the what, right? What do you need to do to close? But I cannot talk about that until you have the proper mindset. And every single week, you notice, I spend a lot of time on mindset because that is that secret ingredient, the secret sauce that makes everything work. Okay? So why don't you share with me about your experience, maybe playing the money game, maybe it's writing down the money beliefs about your past, maybe about what you've learned about money growing up from the people around you, from your parents. I want to hear your aha moments or any personal breakthrough. So why don't we, let's say, we do 2 of those. Devin?
Okay. So everyone, you need to raise your hands right now, and if you're calling in for your first time, you can press *2 to raise your hand if you're dialing in on your telephone. The first person we've got is Timothy Polinick from Calgary, Canada. You are now unmuted. See? All right, Timothy, we're not hearing you.
Timothy?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Timothy.
Oh. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can.
Okay. I have to get my notes.
Yeah, share a breakthrough with us.
Okay. Well, I started everything on Saturday, and so I've been going through and spending a lot of time on everything.
Okay.
And, yeah, it is overwhelming. There's a lot of information, a lot of videos, but I'm really enjoying it, and I'm hoping to learn a lot here. I've been hammering away quite a bit.
Good. And then tonight we're going to talk about closing. So make sure that even though you're catching up, make sure you submit the weekly assignment.
I was working on it today earlier. I'm going to try and write it out nicely so I can submit it.
Very good. Very good. Make sure you do that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we're going to bring on another person. I'd like to bring on one of our, Wonder Woman closers here. We got Stacy Skeet from London.
Okay, Stacy. Wow.
Yep. You're unmuted, Stacy.
Hi, can you?
Hey, Stacy, we can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. Hi. I had so many breakthroughs this week. I think, especially starting with the whole gem situation, it was a complete breakthrough for me. I realized just how much it basically helped me understand and accept my separation. And it seems random, but it's so connected.
What's your gemstone?
I'm a pearl, strong pearl with a little bit of sapphire.
Good. I can hear from your voice. Very pearl, for sure.
Very well.
Yes.
And my mum is a pearl, but a little bit sapphire. But my dad's like emerald.
Oh wow.
So it really helped to understand that. So I was really grateful for that teacher. And the money stuff. My dad was very to one extreme. My mum was like lack, and my dad was like, no, you can have this. There's always enough. So I was like, which way do I go? So now I've kind of got a nice balance. So it was really good to explore that. It's excellent.
Very nice. And today I'm also going to teach you about how to communicate and how to close different people from different gemstone. And then after tonight, we're going to start also open up the role play, so you can role play with different people from all over the world. I think you have a lot of fun with that. You can also make a lot of connections.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, because I don't know if you know this yet, but with HTC, we just counted last week. We were talking about a global movement. Right now, we have students from all over the world, from the first closer that I trained, Kayvon, to the first class, to where fast forward today. In a relatively actually a short period of time, we have now HTC family members in over 70 countries.
And growing. And
yeah, 70 countries. So when I'm talking about a global movement, like this is very, very serious. Just think about that. Connecting, learning a skill, growing together from all over the world, not 10, not 20, 70 countries. Can you imagine that? Like, it's truly spectacular. Like, I'm so excited and I'm so proud. Just like we all, and different people from different background and different age group and different gem personalities and all united in just wanting to provide a better future for the family, wanting to better themselves, become a better version of themselves, helping other people, and making money together. I mean, shit, I don't think it gets better than that.
And Sifu, I think we counted about 14 languages, and that was just from a video done by the Batch 2 members.
Yeah.
But I'm absolutely certain that there's probably at least about 20 languages represented within our family.
Yeah.
Because many other members have not spoken out yet about the second languages or the primary mother language that they do speak. So can you imagine that? There are people in here where English is not their primary mother tongue, and yet they're still...
By the way, it's not my first language either. And
That's
it's
right.
not my first language. It's actually my primary language is Cantonese. My secondary language is Mandarin. It's my third language, right? My third language. And I get by. I do okay. So no excuse. No excuse. Now I want to quickly recap because it's a very important lesson I want to share with you. The 3 rules to live by. Who still remembers what I talked about week 1? What are the 3 rules to live by in HTC? Type in the chat box. Let's see if you remember. Rule number 1, rule number 2, rule number 3. What are the 3 rules? Yeah, no bitching, no excuse. So the 3 rules are: rule number 1, no excuse. You can make money or you can make excuse. You cannot do both. Rule number 2, no opinion. Actually, when talking about no excuse, like Desmond's got something that he could share about like the most creative excuse that we have ever heard of. I find it always entertaining actually to hear that. But like we have heard of every single kind of excuse you could imagine.
We have, and even Shin in support. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to our support and the team members behind the scenes, the unsung,
yes.
Right? I'm sure many of you have connected with several of them, like Tina, who's a community.
Tina is our community manager. You say hi to Tina. Yeah, you
Yeah.
see her. She's posting a lot as well in the Facebook group.
And when just watch for the lives when Dan does them, you get to see the other members. But the one excuse, okay, we get a lot of them, and many we feel sometimes are legit, okay. But again, an excuse, what makes an excuse legit, right? You know, by acknowledging something, it still and just becomes an excuse, because true achievers, true successful people find a way out of no way. The fact that you're admitting there is no way is an excuse. So one of the excuses we get a lot, which we find is so funny because it's so common, and everyone thinks it's unique when they send it to us, it's always the health issue. It's always the family emergency issue. We get that a lot. It's almost like people are not creative enough. And, you know, when we really know that as closers, and Kayvon can speak to this as well, because we've got on the phone and called people out on their bullshit, you know, when they actually start to realize the lies that they're telling themselves. But the initial reaction we get from people is that whenever they want to back out or refund or they want to, you know, stop the program, it's always, you know, guys, I really love this program. I'm really getting a lot of value. You know, I really wanted us to do well at this program, but I'm so sorry. Some family emergency came up, or, you know, I've got a health issue I really need to take care of, and I really need the money. Do you mind giving a refund, or do you mind if I back out of this? You know, and just, you know, at first it sounds good. It sounds decent. It sounds legit. And we would be heartless assholes to say no to this person. But then we ask ourselves the question, if we let this person continue telling themselves those lies, are we being the mentor? Are we being the person that's there to help them? And the answer is no. Because at the end of the day, if a person really wants this bad enough, and Kayvon, I know, has many ways of explaining this, but, you know, it's all the more reason why the person needs this course. Because if they back out now, the boogeyman's going to get them. Then they're never coming back. These people are going to continue to go down that downward spiral. So anyway, that's just one of the things that we hear all the time is those kind of excuses. That's all I want to say on that one.
And I want you to write this down. An excuse is nothing more than a well-planned lie. I'll say it again. An excuse is nothing more than a well-planned lie. I tell people all the time, you always find time for the things and people you want to do and make excuses for the ones you don't. Just like if your friend was to invite you to some kind of party and you didn't want to go, and you say, hey, man, come over, man, come to my party next week, and you say, yeah, I'll see what I can do. Yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah, maybe I'll text you the day before. No, you're not going to go. You're not going to go. You don't want to go. And then, then last minute, yeah, something happened, man. I couldn't make it. Too bad. Sorry, man. Maybe next time. Why not just be fucking honest and say, I don't want to go? An excuse is nothing more than a well-planned lie. And you will not be very successful in life if you make a lot of excuses. Because excuses paralyze you. We procrastinate because of excuses. Rule number 2, no opinion. No opinion. I'm not interested to hear someone's opinion unless they've been there and done that. Rule number 3, no victims. It means we don't blame, we don't justify, we don't bitch, we don't complain. Not just rules in HTC. How many of you think that those are pretty good rules to live by just in life, in general? Those are pretty damn good rules to live by.
Dan, I just saw something in the comment. I'm not going to point out the person who said it, but I want to speak to it. It was a comment that said, my family comes first. That's another excuse I hear all the time. You're speaking to a family man here. You're speaking to a single parent. Well, my wife is here now, so I'm not really a single parent anymore right now. But for 4 years, I basically raised my kids, ran my business, Dan's business, took them to school, did everything by myself. My family comes first. Yes, they come first. Absolutely, my family comes first. But I will do the right things to make sure that my family, I can't help my family being broke. What I don't accept is when I hear parents say my family comes first. Or I hear, kids say this. And we've got sometimes team members that have even said this to me. Oh, your family. Now, I'm not an advocate of workaholics. In fact, you can ask Dan. I am like the number one person that, I will even, I'm all about spending time with my family. Script it out. As long as you've done income producing activities, as long as you've brought the bread home, you don't have to work 7 days a week. Dan has never, ever been an advocate of being a workaholic or a hustler. He's always had time for his family. We are all about our family. But do the right things during the week to justify and bring in results so that you can go spend the time and be there for your family. You can't be there for your family if you're broke. When they're dying and they need help and they got cancer or they got some disease and you can't support them, you're not there for your family. And that's when you are losing out and you're failing your family at that point. So I'm going to speak to that. If someone, I'm just going to stand up and speak out. If you don't like my stance on that, that's fine. You can agree to disagree with me. But don't use that as an excuse where my family comes first. Comes first before what? Before you being the man or the wife or the woman of your family, the mother, the husband, the father of the family, and taking responsibility for providing for your family? Which one comes first?
Desmond, and this is tough love, but it's why we share these things with you, because I want you to develop these habits and taking responsibility. And I said day one, I said all my content, everything I teach on social media, I tell people all the time, it's not for everyone. I'm not for everyone, right? So it's the people who resonate with what I have to say, and people who want to put seriously about changing and become a better version of themselves. And that's why most people they don't like my message. They don't like what I have to say. It's too fucking blunt. They would rather live in their own little bubble than facing the truth, facing the reality, facing themselves. Much easier to point fingers and, it's somebody else's fault. It's their fucking economy. It's my job. It's my city. It's my whatever. Well, look at myself. Look, we see. No, I don't want to do that. That's no. I have no problem. I'm fine. Right? I always tell people, well, how are things? Well, I'm fine. Fine is actually a metaphor. Okay, F-I-N-E. F-I-N-E. Freaked out, in debt, not making enough money, and emotionally stressed out. F-I-N-E. When most people say, I'm fine, that's what it means. Fine. It's not fucking fine. It's not fine. So that's why every single week, sometimes behind the scenes you guys don't see this, but every single week, every time we have a class, every single week, I fire a couple of students. Because I said, I take this very seriously. I want no bad apple in the group. Zero bad apple, right? So here's an example. This is from Steve, one of our new member. He made this Facebook post basically bitching about the chat. Within 24 hours, I asked support Shin to refund his money and ask him to leave and kick him out of the class. I don't want opinion. I don't want no victim. I want you to think about this because there are two big lessons I want to teach you. Number one, you are going to, when you're closing, when you're out there, when you are talking with influencers, you're gonna meet with people that, you know what, I'm gonna make money with this influencer, but man, that guy's a pain in the ass to deal with, right? Kayvon experienced that.
Fuck. I just been quiet here until you're talking my language. Influencers are going to be the most challenging. Not all influencers, but there's a lot of influencers that can bring you a lot of money, but you're going to have the patience. You're going to have the emotional intelligence. You're going to have to know how to handle them. And it's not handling them by being emotional. It's not handling them by being fine. It's actually, it's handling them being in harmony with your strengths, being in harmony with your emotions, and understanding how to use finesse so you can get what you need out of them, so at the end of the day, you can get paid.
And that's why every single time we have new students coming in, I'm not the right seafood for them. They have their own limiting belief, or we just don't click. or they break one of these 3 rules and they think I'm fucking joking. No, within hours, I said, no, I'm kicking this person out. And the way I do it is this. When I kick someone out of what I do, they are banned for life. They're banned for life. Ask Desmond, ask Kayvon. That's always the way I do it. Everything in the future, whatever training I do, whatever event, they are not coming back ever. Period. Because I believe, what's the point of having you money if you don't say fuck off sometime? What's the point of having you F your money if you don't say fuck off sometime? So that's why, number one, you're going to work with influencer. You feel like he or she's a pain in the ass. I don't want to work with that. You know what? Fire them. There's always another influencer. There's always another prospect. There's always another deal. Right now, how many of you have your own business? You run your own business and you have your own customers. And you have those customers, you know the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about customers from hell. That it makes you lose sleep over like at night. It makes your stomach turn. It gives you a headache. You know those are customers? How many have some of those right now in your business? Right now. So my question is, why do you have them there? Why do you have them there? Oh yeah, Dan, because they pay me, or it pays the bills, and wow, they kind of been with me for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, whatever the number is now. So yeah, so just at least I make some money from that. Isn't it true? I'm just asking the mental bandwidth that it takes you to deal with these people. So second thing is, why you have them, why don't you just get rid of them? Free yourself. There's always another client. There's another customer. There's always another customer. Just because someone gives you money, it doesn't make you their little bitch. Just because someone is paying you, in spite of a lot of money, it doesn't make you their little bitch. Money is exchange in terms of value. They pay you money, you provide a product service, you solve a problem for them. It's a fair exchange. So what they give you money? So someone gives me a couple $1,000, that gives you power over me? Over what I want to do? I invite you to my home? That's the fucking attitude that you have? No. Put yourself in my shoes. Why would I give someone a gift, a skill that could free them from financial struggles and worries forever? The very same skill that's made me tens of millions of dollars. Why would I give someone a gift and they don't treat me with respect and they don't cherish what I have? Just because they pay me a couple grand, they sign up for some fucking program? Fuck that. That's the attitude that you need to have. Just because someone pay you, now you're their little bitch? No. It's professional to professional. They pay you money, you solve a problem for them. And they keep paying your money, and you keep solving the problems for them. And that's the mindset I need you to get. You don't need them. And you cannot please everyone. Ever. Life is too short. It's too fucking short to deal with asshole clients. So when you talk to influencer, when you go out there and when you network and when you put together these deals, only deal with people who want to deal with you. Only deal with people who want to deal with you. There's always more money. There's always another customer. Always. There's so many of them. There's so many of them. You getting this? Is this making sense? You got to get this in your head. right? You are interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. They need you as much as you need them. It's a win-win relationship. Just someone because they pay you money, it doesn't give them power over you. I don't care how much that is. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's your home. This is my home. I'm very, very protective when it comes to the HTC family group. I don't care who the fuck they are. You fuck my family, I fuck you up. Fuck you up. I don't care who the fuck they are, seriously. That's what I'm talking about. I have to do it that way. Can't be nice about it. Can't even give them an inch. Not a fucking inch. Give it an inch, they want a mile. That's what I'm talking about. Right? 8 billion people in this world. Exactly. So many people you could serve. How about this? How many have heard when you're growing up from your parents, come on, don't talk to strangers. Make sure you don't talk to strangers. Oh my God, they're gonna kidnap you. How many heard that before? You'll be taken away. Make sure you don't talk to strangers. Be careful. Don't talk to that person. Why are you talking to that person? You don't know that person. Why? How many heard that before? Growing up. Don't talk to strangers. Well, now we are now all grown up. I can tell you in the business world, if you don't talk to strangers on a regular basis, you're broke. If you don't talk to strangers on a regular basis, you're broke. Now, talking to the same group of people all the time, you're broke. Very simple.
That's actually very, very powerful, Dan. If you're talking the same people all the time, you're broke. Another way of saying that, if you keep hanging around the same people who are not serving you, you're broke.
And repeat after me, loud and clear. The amount of money you make is in direct proportion to how many strangers you talk to every day. The amount of money you make is in direct proportion to how many strangers you talk to every day. So think about that. How many strangers are you talking to? It's as a closer, if you're not talking to strangers, you ain't closing sales. You're not closing sales. Kayvon, you cannot be just talking, hey, you know what, that's a client that I closed a year ago. Let me keep talking to him every week.
Yeah. No, you're going to be out of, I'll tell you, you're going to, yeah, you got to be, for me, I'm talking to probably a new influencer at this point, Dan, probably daily now. One person a day, if not 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah. And you wonder how, like, when we're growing up, like, the people love us the most, they fuck us up. Don't talk to strangers. Money doesn't grow on trees. Right? Just think about, even in terms of like social media, look at what I do. I'm talking to people all the time, but through social media, when people they listen to a podcast, when they watch a video, when they read a blog post, I am talking to strangers every single day around the world, having these quote-unquote connections and conversations. Every single minute as I'm teaching you, my content, my work is out there talking to someone. Every day, every single day, I want to be talking to a lot of strangers. And the number one key to making sales is this, is turning strangers into friends, and friends into clients, and clients into raving fans. That's the number one key to making sales in business. Talking to a lot of strangers, turn them into friends, and friends into clients, and clients into raving fans. It's that simple. I talk to most business owners, oh yeah, I'm not making enough sales. You're not talking to enough strangers. Well, how do you know? It has to be. You're not talking to enough strangers. Or you are talking to a lot of strangers, you're just not good at closing. One of the two. It cannot be anything else. You're not talking enough to enough people, or the people you're talking to ain't buying your stuff. It's those two, right? And if they're not buying your stuff, it's either you're talking to the wrong people or you're not good at closing, right? So I also noticed that we have some new members. If you are posting good, if you are not posting in Facebook, my question to you is, why are you not posting or interacting with other HTC family members? Why? Let's have a talk. Why are you not posting? Maybe you are listening in right now. I'm talking to you. You're participating. You're doing the assignment quietly, alone. But you don't want to share. You don't want to post. We don't want people to judge what you do.
And I know we have some people that are not even doing the homework. They're not even sending the homework in.
Mm-hmm. You're not doing assignments. You haven't even uploaded your fucking photo on Facebook. And that's okay. I'm asking why. Simply, just why? Where does that come from? I think there are only 3 reasons. There are only 3 reasons why you have not posted. And it's not about posting. You know that. It's not about posting or interacting. It's nothing to do with that. There's 3 reasons you have not posted. It's number 1, you're afraid to commit because you want to look bad. You're afraid to commit. Commit to something. Commit to yourself. Commit to your family. What if it doesn't work? What if I look stupid? What if I'm not good enough? What if I don't get good fast enough? Number 2, you're afraid to get hurt. You're afraid to get hurt because you've been alone for a long time. You've been alone for a long time. You forgot what it's like to connect with someone. We forgot what it's like to connect with people. I can tell you cannot be a very good closer if you don't know how to connect. But you don't want to connect because connection might mean you'll be too emotionally invested in someone or something that you might get hurt. And yes, I'm talking to you. Number 3, your whole life, you've always been an observer, not participating, just sitting on the sideline, watching other people participate, but just observe. Don't want to get involved. Well, you don't get involved, you won't get hurt, right?
If you don't get hurt, you won't look bad. Here's the thing I can say to this is if you look at all of this, you're afraid to commit because you don't want to look bad. That's, again, you being in the position you're being in right now. Ask yourself, is it serving you? You're afraid to get hurt because you've been alone for a long time. Oh, I'm afraid to make friends. Well, how's that working for you? You've always been an observer in life. And I can tell you this, something I've learned is your convenience and your conviction, they do not live in the same block. Heck, they don't even live in the same street or even the same country. You can't have convenience and conviction. You got to choose one or the other.
So ask yourself how being the whole life as an observer. So it's nothing about the post. The truth is, you post or you don't. No one really knows. Only you know. I'm just pointing it out. No different than a money game. That behavior, how's it serving you? How's it serving you your whole life? Being an observer. How does being an observer get you anything when you're not fully committed, when you're not all in? When was the last time you go all in, fully committed to something, and saying to yourself, you know what? Fuck, I got this. I could do this. I'm not afraid. This doesn't stop me. I'm going to make it happen. That's what it's about. I'm not going to force you to post. I'm just saying, if in this environment, what I've created, the HTC family environment, this environment where there's no judgment, it's 100% safe, and you're afraid to connect and open up and can just make a fucking simple post, if you're that afraid in this safe environment, then you're really afraid of life. And that is very, very sad. It's very sad. I hope that's not the case. This is a great quote from Game of Thrones. When the snows fall, the white winds blow, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. The pack survives. So if you think it's impossible, it's not. If you think you know everything, you don't. If you think you're alone, you're not. You're not. We call it HTC family for a fucking reason. It's not a fucking chat group. It's not a community. It's not a fucking forum. It's not a Facebook group. It's a fucking family. And I don't take the word family lightly. I do not take the word family lightly. We call it family because the only place where you free yourself from the nonsense and negativity if you're open to it. That's in the outside world. Think about it. Think about all the other fucking Facebook groups. Think about all the stuff you see on the wall. Besides anything from HTC, look at the other posts that you get from your Facebook feed, from your wall, from other Facebook group. All the fucking nonsense and negativity and bullshit and doom and gloom. And your HTC family shares the same values and same goals as you. Although they are from all walks of life, they're all walking the same path. In some cases, tell me if I'm wrong, in some cases, they understand you more than your actual family. And they support you with no agenda, no hidden motive. They're not getting paid. There is nothing to gain by supporting you. There's no agenda. It's just simply because they're walking the same path or they've walked the same path as you walked on before. If that's not fucking family, I don't know what is. I truly don't know what is. That when you're role playing with each other, when you're holding each other accountable, when you're helping and supporting each other answer each other's questions, there's no agenda. There's no motive. And think about the post. So somehow, okay, and we are so positive. We are the go-getters, and we make shit happen. We want to take control of our own lives and destiny. Somehow we are the weird ones. Somehow we play with money. We are the weird ones. We want to make more money. Oh, we're the strange people. That is so wrong. We want to understand ourselves more. That's strange. That is so wrong. You just think about it. And this just might be the only place in the world where you can be yourself, where you're forging the best version of you, like you're forging a sword, right? You're forging the best version of you. And that's why every single time I tell people, this is not a group that you belong to where, oh yeah, it's a 7-week program, and you don't. I don't just give you access. Oh, here's 7 weeks, and you have 7 weeks of access to the Facebook group, and after the class is finished, oh, I'm sorry, then you're out. Fuck that. You don't get access for 7 weeks. You don't get access for 6 months. You don't get access for 1 year. You get access for whole fucking life. As long as I'm here. Even after I'm gone. Or as long as Facebook is around, which I think will be a long time. You have access to this family for life. Even today at the end of the class, I'm going to have some new assignments, some new tools that I want to give to you. You're the batch 3. Some of the graduates, you'll get those, but I'm also going to share that with the batch 1 and batch 2 from the past. And they graduated months ago, but I want to give them these new tools and new assignments as my gift. And that's why I said when it's HTC, we're fucking different. We just are. We just are. You with me? Do you follow what I'm saying? Let's talk about sales. Actually, before talk about life, talk about sales. Post in a comment. HTC for life. Give me a little hashtag. Emma just did it. Awesome. Let's talk about 3 common objections that salesperson typically hears. Now, if you've done any kind of sales in the past, see if you've heard of these ones before. Okay? The first one is, this sounds too good to be true. I need to think it over. This sounds good, but I need to think it over. I need to think about it. How many have heard that one before? Right? Or, your price is too high. Your price is too high. Or, I need to run your proposal by my business partner before I can make a decision. Now, those are 3 very common objections that a typical salesperson hears all the time. How many have heard of one of these ones before? Right?
How many of you said these 2 people before?
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. So very, very common objection. So what we're going to talk about today is not how to just handle these objections, because we're going to objections in the next coming few weeks, but more so, why did they come up? And how did you trigger? Notice the word I said. How did you trigger these objections from your prospects? Because they didn't just come up. You are the one, as a salesperson, as the closer, you are the one that actually triggers these objections. I'll explain to you in just a moment why. Whenever you hear these 3 things, it means it only means one thing. You have lost control. What's the word? Control of the call. Now, there are several mistakes that you might have made that resulted in the buyer objecting. Number 1, very common, you're pushing features and benefits a bit too much. You're pushing, oh, here's why it's so great. Look at this product. Look at all these things that we could do. You're pushing features and benefits a bit too much. Number two, you're mentioning the price too early, too late, without understanding their needs. Either talk about money too early, they're not ready, they don't fully understand the value that you offer, or you talk about too late without understanding their needs. Number three, failure to skillfully negotiate access to the other decision makers. So you didn't pre-frame the call properly where you negotiate access. So this sounds good. You're talking to a person, they like you, they like your offer, they have the money, but suddenly at the end it comes up where, oh yeah, I got to talk to somebody else. I'm actually not the one that makes the decision. I got to talk to my board. I got to talk to my manager. I got to talk to whoever. I got to talk to my spouse, a business partner. You didn't skillfully negotiate access to that ahead of the time. Okay, it's one of those three things. But what it means, whenever you hear these objections, just know that these are not just somehow random objections. It simply means you have lost control of the call. So let me ask you this. When I say the word, look at this salesperson. So when I say the word salesperson, salesman, saleswoman, doesn't matter, what word, don't think, don't edit, very quickly, what word comes to mind? Put in the chat box. Don't edit, don't think, just when I say the word salesman or salesperson or saleswoman, what word comes to mind?
Okay. Sleazy, pushy, greaseball.
Sleazy salesman, ugly. Isn't he cute?
Typical.
Karen said pushy, okay, good. Chris, just LOL, that's good.
I'll take my money.
Yeah, the sleazy, slimy, creepy, right? Greaseball, greaseball, I like that. Snake oil, right? Used car salesman, right?
Myself, Tom Johnson.
Right? Misleading, right? Lying, doing whatever it takes to get the sale. Don't care about people, just out to get my money. Standing there, out to get my money, right? So think about there's so much negative association when it comes to sales, right? Just imagine this, okay? How many of you are parents? How many of you are parents? Okay, so your kid comes home, the little kid comes home and says to you, Mom and Dad, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor. What are you going to say to your kids? I want to be a doctor, Mom and Dad. What do you say to them? Put in the comment box. I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna study. I'm gonna get my medical degree. I'm gonna be a doctor. Right? Yeah, right? Awesome. Go for it. Imagine another scenario.
Carlos puts, how are you gonna pay for it?
How are you gonna pay for it? So on the other hand, let's say your kid after school comes to home and say, Mom, Dad, when I grow up, I want to be a salesman. I want to be a salesman. What are you going to say to your kids? What's going through your mind? Right? Ouch! What did I do? Oh my God, what kind of parents am I? What happened to my kids? What went wrong, right? Oh my goodness. Right? Jordan said, oh fuck no. Then he said, oh no. Right? So think about that. Like just our society, how we view people who are in sales. People who do sales for a living. Like it is like the lowest level professions, you might think, oh my God. So somehow being a doctor, Kayvon, like being a doctor.
Yeah.
Means
I
what?
can tell you this, as I watched my best friend, he go from literally study for med school since he was in elementary school, high school, pre-med, med school, post-med. He's still in school, 32 years old. I make more than he makes in 3-4 months than he makes in the entire year as a doctor, as a lawyer. I'll tell you this. One thing I love about I'm a born, and I truly believe I'm a born true salesperson. I've always ingrained with the sales. I've loved it. I become it. I don't think of myself as a salesperson Monday to Friday, and then I'm caving on the weekends. No, I'm a salesperson. I'm a sales leader every day of the week. But the one thing I know, and I was told at a very young age when I first started my career, is the last people in any company to get fired is the salespeople. If there is no salespeople, there is no revenue. There's no marketing, there's no HR, there's no compliance department. It all starts with the salespeople. So why, I'm going to ask you a question, why, put in the comments, why do you think when it comes to organizational structures in this corporate America, people hate salespeople? Especially the HR department and the financing department. They hate salespeople because we get paid more than every one of them, and they know it. But the thing is, what I always laugh is, then go do what I do. Oh, I would never do that. Well, why not? We get paid more. We get more time off. I get to be out of the office. I'm not a slave to the desk. I get to pick my own time. As a closer, what we're going to teach you, you get to do whatever the hell you want, when you want. You answer to nobody. Very little business expenses, if any. You work with one influencer. I mean, really, how much better does it get than that? And you make a 7-figure income.
Just think about, like, as a doctor, going to medical school for how many years, student loan, how many exams, how many hours of practice, intern. Finally, you graduate, you make a little bit of money, not even that much money. Takes you another fucking 5-10 years to pay that off. Well, somehow when your kid comes home and tell you that, hey, I want to be a doctor, I want to be in debt, I want to be stuck, I want to have no control, I don't want to be overworked, I want to be underpaid. Good job, son. That's a great career. Or somehow, hey, Dad, I want to be a salesman. I want to be in control of my own life. I want to get paid based on my performance, not my degree. I want to be able to travel the world. Right? I want to be able to control my own time. I want to make as much money as I want. I want to help people. I want to close. I want to sell people on product and services that could help them. Somehow I'm fucked up. That is wrong. That is a wrong career. Isn't it interesting? I want you to see how you think and how the society thinks. But forget that. We're not even talking about sales. Because there's a big difference between salespeople and high-ticket closer. It's a whole different thing. I'm talking about what we do. I'm just talking about what we do. So, let's talk about high-ticket sales rule number 1. Every single rule that I'm going to share with you, these are the laws. What are the words? These are high-ticket laws to live by. Memorize them.
Yeah, I was going to say, remember I stated at the beginning of this course that there's going to be some fundamentals. This stuff, again, what we're about to dive into is what separates me from when everyone's like, I want to be like Kayvon. I understand the fundamentals here. Truthfully, I understand them. I live by them. I value them. I use them.
And everything we do is sales. Lisa just posted, aren't rock stars salesmen? Absolutely. Bill Gates is a salesman. You think Steve Jobs is not a salesman? You think Elon Musk is not a salesman? You think Richard Branson is not a salesman? You think Warren Buffett is not a salesman? You think Oprah is not a saleswoman? Of course. Everything that comes out of your mouth is sales. The only difference is, are you a good salesperson? Are you a closer? Or are you a lousy salesperson? The amount of money that you make is in direct proportion to how many strangers you talk to every day. So rule number 1, never ever sound like a salesperson. Never ever sound like a salesperson. So what does a salesperson sound like? Usually they are very, very excited. A lot of traditional sales, they teach salespeople, you gotta have enthusiasm. You gotta be excited about your product. No, don't get overly excited. Because the minute you do, you sound like a salesperson. Number two, don't talk too fast. Because you get excited, you talk too fast. When you talk too fast, it sounds like you're this slimy, sleazy, snake oil salesman and just try to push features and benefits. So don't talk too fast. Don't justify your own value. Don't justify what you sell. I'll go into depth a little bit more in just a moment. And do not use traditional, especially well-known sales tricks and techniques. Okay? What are some of the traditional sales techniques? Come on, give me some.
Oh, they're like the Ben Franklin close,
Share
assumption
some.
close.
Share some.
Oh, for me?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
give me some traditional, well-known sales tricks and techniques.
Traditional, like the assumption close. So is this going to be, should I put the order in today, or do you want to get it delivered tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. What else? Give me one more.
What else is it?
The yes, the yes. Basically, like, oh yeah, so should I come see you on Thursday or should I come see you on Friday?
The alternative, right? Close.
The alternative close, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The hard close, right? Come on, boss. You know you want to do this. Come on, let's do it.
I love that. Come on, let's do it, man. Come on, man, guys, let's do
boss.
it.
You don't want to let me down. Or the commission close. Come on, man. This is the worst. I hang with. Come on, man. You know this is how I get paid. I'm on commission. If you can't do this and I can't provide my family, you wouldn't want that to happen to me.
Mike is saying, yeah, sign up right now for a whatever percentage discount. Yep, that's very, very common, right? Those type of kind of urgency type sales techniques. So don't do those, and don't try to please or chase the prospects. Don't try to please or chase the prospects.
This is the one that gets. I have to speak to this, Dan. I'm sorry. This is the one that gets misunderstood, I feel, across the board. What Dan's saying is we don't chase them, as in we don't call them 25 times to make sure they're going to show up on the call. Or if we've spoken to them and they said, let me think about it, and we call them 25 times after and chase them. We don't please them, but they want discount, and you say, okay, I'll give you a discount, and they want another discount. Oh, but they want it on this terms, and then they want it on that terms, and then no, but I'll start next week, but I'm going to start half of it next week and the other half next year. No, we don't do that. But what we do is we do add value. We do send them an email to say, hey, we got a call, looking forward to speaking to you. If we don't close them on the first call, we do a follow-up call, very simply, and just say, hey, it was great to speak with you. If you want to discuss more, let me know. But we don't chase them. If we don't get that email back, it's over. We live in an abundant world. We're not attached to the sale. We're definitely not attached to our prospect. So don't confuse this. Don't chase them. Don't please them to no service, no customer service at all. But Dan told me not to chase them. No, Dan told you not to look like a typical salesperson by annoying them.
Doesn't mean you don't act like a professional. Doesn't mean you're rude. There's a big difference. Right? Now we're talking about just business etiquette. Right? Business acumen. But we don't want to please or try to please the prospects. Hopefully, oh yeah, sure, I'll do that. Hopefully they will buy. We don't do that. Right? We're professional. We're high ticket closers. Right? Don't be needy. That's what I'm saying. Do not be needy.
Oh, this week, this is a good story, Dan. This is a good story. This happened this week. So I'm speaking to this influencer, and we're going back and forth. He's in Australia, so we've just been going more back and forth on email. And this just after I've had 2 or 3 calls with him, and we finally get the deal. I finally send the contract to him, which I never even send a contract. We'll talk about. I don't even like contracts, but he asked for one. I said sure, whatever. I sent it. He comes back with 20 different lines. Okay, I spoke to my lawyer. This is wrong. Can you fix this? Can you fix this? Blah 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 blah. All I did was send him an email back and say, truthfully, I don't even care about contracts. The fact you got your lawyer looked into this makes me wonder if we should really get into the business. Here's what's going to happen at the end of that deal. You're going to hire me. You're going to pay me $10,000. I'm going to find 5 closers for you. I'm going to personally train those 5 closers. You can pick the best closer, and at the end of it, we'll put him on your team. He's going to represent your company in the way you want them to represent you, and we're going to close at 20% closing rate and make you $200,000 a month. That's the new contract. Please sign here. Enter. He said, okay, Kayvon, I'm in. I didn't try to please him. I wasn't going to go and answer all his lawyer questions. I wasn't even going to go down that road, and I'll tell you why. Because if I start the conversation or the relationship off like that, I'm going to be doomed for the rest of that relationship. He's gonna always demand and want and want and want. And then the one day I try to step up, he's gonna say, "What's going on, Kayvon? This isn't your character. Well, maybe this isn't the right thing for you." No, I nipped it in the butt right away. And I did that because I was willing to lose him, because I wasn't going to work with someone like that. And I had to learn that the hard way. Let me tell you this. I had to learn the hard way, still learning today, how to not just work with influence and just say bye-bye. Because I'm a sapphire, I want to win. Because I'm a sapphire, I also want to see it I want to see it go to the next, always go to the promised land. Even though every sign in the world is telling me, just drop them. No, I got this. I can make this work. I can make this work. And then what happens? It doesn't work. I've wasted time. I've now beaten myself up because I couldn't make it work, but no one really could have made that work. And I've wasted my closer's time. I've wasted Dan's energy because I'm calling Dan and going, "Dan, why isn't this working, man? Why do I suck so much?" And he's like, "Do I have to tell you this?" You can ask Dan. I don't call anymore about this because I know he's going to tell me. He's going to tell me exactly the answer I know. Why even bother?
Mm-hmm. And that's why it goes back to the very lesson I just shared with you. Right? Life is too short. There's always another deal. There's always another prospect. There's always another sale you could close. Just move on. It's okay. But be a professional. Be a professional, right? So don't chase prospects. Don't please prospects. Some of you guys maybe tell me if you've done this in the past. If you were in Kayvon's shoes, it's a $10,000 upfront deal. It's going to be probably worth another tens of thousands of dollars every month. You'd be like, the prospect comes back to you, "I want these 20 changes." Oh, okay, all right. Which part you don't like? Okay, I can change that. Oh, I can change that. And that takes that back and forth another 10, 20, 30 days. When you send it back, they're still not fucking happy. Finally, they reluctantly sign the damn deal, and now you're their little bitch.
You just said a little bitch.
Yeah, and then it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not how we do business. That's definitely not the way that I teach you to do business. So please, right, you're going to represent what I do. You're going to be HTC. Please don't do business that way. We don't do that.
Just so you know, Dan, that was a $50,000 a month deal.
Yeah, about $50K, right?
$50K a month.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking.
I told him, I said, because here's the reality. He was so hung up on the 10K. I kept coming back to the 10K. Well, what happens if I pay you 10K and then you tell me not that you won't train my closers? Then what happens to the 10K? And I just basically said, if I made my business off of the 10K, I'd be dead fucking broke. Yep. The 10K is nothing. It's just my time and my energy to to train my closers so they can be rock stars for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And tell them, you know what, if you're not comfortable with that, it's okay to say no. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to say certain things, how to handle objections. From now, I want you to get the rule number one. Also, always remember, people hate to be sold, but they love to buy. We hate to be sold, but we love to buy things. We love to buy things. So you want to give people the feeling at the end of that sales call that it's their decisions. You didn't push them. You didn't force them. It is in their best interest and their decisions to say yes. That's the feeling you want them to walk away with, okay? So the way you want to do that is what I call a pattern interrupt. What's the word? Say with me. Pattern interrupt. It means not acting like, looking like, or resembling a stereotypical type self-centered salesperson. Okay? You got it? Take control of the sales process within seconds of the conversation. When do you want to take control? Within seconds of the conversation. So you don't want to sound like a salesperson at all. So let's role play this. So put up your hand if you're selling your own product and services. You're not an HTC graduate. I want someone brand new. And just put up your hand, and then I want you to role play with me. I'll be a prospect. Let's do maybe one or two of those.
All right, Dan. I think the very first person to put up his hand is Mario Ronchi.
Yeah, Mario.
Mario in the United Kingdom.
Okay.
Go ahead. You're unmuted.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, Mario.
Awesome. So mainly my services are branding and strategy for real estate companies.
Okay. So
And
branding strategies, and what do you do for them exactly?
so I go through a whole process of defining their target audience and defining their brand, who they are, and then creating a plan of action as to what they need to do afterwards. And so, which is good because then they also can take that strategy to any other agency, so that gives them the flexibility.
Okay. Are you selling to real estate brokerage or real estate agents?
Right now, real estate brokerages.
Okay. Okay. So they have different agents within their brokerage, right?
Yes,
Okay.
but I always want to try to talk to the decision maker.
Okay. And you will help them brand their brokerage, but to attract clients as well, to attract more agents, I assume, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you got it.
Okay, I got it. And what's your price point?
Right now, it's only been in the hundreds,
Okay.
but I'm trying to raise that to at least 5,000 to 10K.
So how much you're selling now?
How much I'm selling, like my closing rate?
No, just your price point right now that you're closing.
Oh, okay. 750.
750. Okay. And that includes like how many? Like is it a planning session? Is it like a half day thing, a full day thing? Like what is it?
It's 3-day session, yes.
Okay.
For at least 1 hour each, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, so 1 hour each, 3 times for 3 days for $750, right?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. All right, let's try that, Mario. So I want you to pretend I own a brokerage. Okay. Pretend I own a brokerage in your area, and now we're talking on the phone. And just relax. Okay, don't be nervous. Just want to have some fun with this. Okay. Just pretend how you would usually do it. I'll be a prospect. I just want to see how you do it, and then I can give you some coaching on that. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. So yeah. So who's this?
Oh, hey, John, are you there? I'm Mario. I'm the brand strategist at Manufacture.
Oh, yeah. Hi, hey, Mario. Yeah, man, yes. Yeah, I think a friend of mine mentioned your name to me, and he said you do branding for like real estate companies?
Yes, we help companies, real estate brokerages, specialized to attract clientele and also agents, which we know that's a big concern.
So what like how does that work? Like how do you help like companies like us?
We basically take you through a whole strategy session, which at the end of the day is supposed to give you clarity on your business direction, and that's very important because a lot of our clients come to us and they say, we just want a logo, we just want an identity system, and a lot of branding firms and a lot of design studios offer these type of services for logo and identity services. But what it really is, what they're actually doing when they spend money on that is actually that they spend money on just painting just a new coat of paint over a car, not actually changing the car, if you get what I'm saying. So what we really want to try to do is really have a clear direction where you want to go, and then add on the stuff. But we need a strong foundation in where to go from.
So, but what if I already have the logo? I mean, we've been in business more than now 12 years.
Of course.
We are reasonably established in the marketplace.
I know that.
Currently, we have over 80 agents under our umbrella. So, like, how is this going to help me? I don't quite get it. Like the direction, I think we're doing quite well.
Okay.
So it sounds good, but I'm not so sure how. Like I would benefit from this.
Damn it, that is really good.
It's okay, keep trying.
Okay. So I would think that even though you do have a brand identity established already, a strategy doesn't always mean you need to have a brand identity service in place. The main thing is finding new solutions to take your business, because your business can always be better, And clarity is always needed in a business at no matter what time you have it in. And so that's mainly what we offer. We offer clarity of direction.
Okay.
And we also help prioritize, your business goals so that you get there right on time, that, you make those business goals happen. Save a lot of time instead of just running around thinking, what am I going to do here? What am I going to do there? Actually pick out what you need to do right at first, and then we help you out with that. Or you can go to a different agency and do that. We really just are concerned with strategy here.
And so let's say if I bring you in, because it sounds to me, I'm not so sure, but let's say if I can bring you in, how much do you charge? Like, how does this work? Is it like a half a day thing, a 1 month thing? Like, what does it include, and how much you charge?
So we do require an upfront payment. We do, for these projects, we usually do 50% deposit up front,
okay,
25
how much is that?
in the middle, and 25 at the end. And it's really just 3-day sessions.
3 days? Like, you need 3 days of my time?
Yes, if you definitely have to be committed to understanding your brand.
Okay, like 3 full days?
Well, just 3 days, really.
Like,
think
how many hours each day you're talking about?
So it's definitely 1 hour sessions each day.
Oh, okay. I thought you need like 8 hours a
day.
day.
No. I know there's because the problem is a lot of branding firms, they do it very quickly, and not very quickly, very slowly and methodically. And the thing is, depending on what like, you're an established business, so we might have to do a brand audit as well, in which we go back into your company, look over all your things, look at your current ideas, look at your current audience perception, what do they think about you, and then we go into the strategy session.
Okay, I'm confused here. So the audit, is it included in the 3-day? We do it like the first day, or is it like something separate?
That is something separate, just in case you need it. I don't know in your case yet, because all you've said so far is, I'm just making assumptions off what you've said so far, but we'd have to go a bit deeper to figure out if that's actually a good option to go into.
Okay, so how much is that again? So the 3-day?
That's
with the audit?
With the audit,
you said how much? $750?
Yes, $750 for the strategy.
Okay.
And plus the audit.
Like US or pound?
It's $750 dollars.
Dollars, okay. And then if I want the audit, how much is that?
$800. Damn, did I just make up that number?
Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
800.
So 800 on top of the 750?
Yes, on top of it, yes, because it requires a lot of research, a lot of in-depth with your.
So the audit costs more than a 3-day.
Yes, it does.
Oh wow!
It requires a lot of.
Do you think I really need it?
It depends. I haven't asked you enough questions to actually garner what you need out of this. Because you think you need the audit. I don't know yet. I really don't know.
Okay.
You've given me just, only now. You've only given me Mario. I have all my stuff. I already have all your marketing stuff all done. It has a current perception, and my audience has current recognition of it. They know what it is. So what's the problem with that, right? So I guess that's really the thing. A brand audit is kind of like checking your vitals, really, checking, if everything is going proper, right? So we only do that with established companies, though, and that's what you were telling me before, is you do this with, you're telling me, you're an established company.
Yeah.
If you weren't, we would just be like, okay, so we understand now that it's strategy that you just need, right? But I would have to ask you more questions.
But I don't know if I need an audit, because that's another $800. But I think the 3-day sounds pretty good to me.
Okay.
I think we've been in business for a long time. Maybe we need a rebrand. I don't know, right? Who knows? I think it doesn't hurt to bring in someone kind of. You seem like you know what you're talking about. Can you send me a proposal though? Because I've got a couple managers I want to run this by.
Okay.
Kind of laid out exactly what the 3 days, what that includes, and all that stuff, right?
Right. But we probably need to get a deposit first before I send a proposal to you. I'm very committed to my clients, and I need to know that you're also committed to this thing as well.
Well, I think
the money that you put forward is a commitment to my time and your time, and the time we all.
Okay, but the problem is I can't talk to my colleague. Like if I pay you up front, then I need to have something to show them in order to get you the money, though. You know what I mean? Like, you understand, right? I'm one of the founders. I have 2 more partners I got to talk to. I need to convince them to say, hey, you know what? Mario comes in. He's going to help us rebrand. It's going to be a 3-day thing, $750. Here's the proposal. Here's what's included. They say yay or nay, and then get back to you, and I give you. I don't even need to give you a deposit. I give you the whole thing. You know what I mean?
It's really I understand that. It's just that we've worked with clients in the past that have basically ghosted on us with proposals, and
so what? You don't trust me?
No. I do trust you completely. It's just company policy that we do now to avoid having that.
Oh, come on, man! But now I can't. You seem like a nice guy. And I like what you have to say, but I can't move forward without proposal.
If you can't show the commitment, I can't do anything about it.
Okay, so I guess that's it, eh? I guess maybe.
Yeah, that's it.
I see. Okay, off the role play. Good job, Mario. Pretty good job. Round of applause.
Thank you.
Yeah, and all the XTC family members are like, go, Mario. Now I know. Relax, deep breath. Okay, I know it's not easy. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're role playing in front of a few hundred people, right? So I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Sure.
But good job. Now I'm gonna give you some quick coaching first, and then as I go through the class, you're gonna change a whole bunch of shit that you do. Okay?
Got it.
I'm gonna pinpoint a couple of things. Number one, the first second. If everybody remembers, the first line, first couple paragraphs coming from you. What did you say? Do you remember?
Yes, I introduced myself, but I felt very.
Say it exactly the way that you said it. So say, hey, Mario. And then what did you say?
I said, hello, this is Mario Ronchi from manufacturer. I'm doing the brand strategy for you. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Too excited.
Was it exciting?
Too excited, too enthusiastic.
It was too enthusiastic. Okay.
The minute you sound like that, in my mind, you're going to sell me some shit.
Exactly.
So right there, the first 2 seconds, you've lost me.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're playing the game. You notice during the entire conversation, do you feel like you're trying to catch up, right?
Yeah.
Right? You feel like you're losing control, and you just kind of like I'm running and you're just trying to follow me and kind of try to catch your breath.
Exactly.
Feel that way?
Yes, I do feel that way.
Yeah.
Every time you came up with an objection, like, okay, what the hell did I say to this guy so I can grab back his attention on the sale?
And truly, I mean, I'm being relatively easy on this call. Like I'm not being tough. I'm being quite open, actually, right? I'm listening to what you have to say. So I'm not even particularly a tough prospect, but notice that. And second, huge thing that you did, okay? You talk too much. Okay? So everyone, comment in who is doing most of the talking? Who is doing 80% of the talking during this role play? Mario or Dan? You're doing 80% of the talking.
Mm-hmm.
It means you are spending 80% of your time. If you listen back to this call, a lot of justifying.
Exactly, yeah.
A lot, and the problem is, I try not to laugh too much, but a lot of justifying, it's kind of fluffy. It's a little bit fluffy, okay?
Yeah.
In my mind, like, what the fuck does that mean?
It was two what? It was two features, not benefits.
Right? Feature benefit is like if it was actual, like I'm not playing a character. If it's just me, I would have. If it's Dan, I would say, what the fuck does that mean?
Exactly.
I would have said that, right? But I'm trying to be a character, so yeah, okay, that sounds pretty good.
Gotta be super clear, basically.
Yeah,
super
clear. Exactly what does that mean, right? So, and the third thing is at the end you were good, being smart not to do the proposal, which is good.
I've got hurt in the past, so I know from that.
Smart. But we can handle that with a little bit more finesse. Okay. I want you to kind of, the key word for the day, for you and for everyone listening to this, is finesse. So you want to not give them the proposal, which I don't do proposal, but in a very strategic kind of way. That doesn't make them feel bad. Not like, oh, this is the company policy. Well, you can't commit, then I'm not going to commit. It's not like that. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to actually turn that into a commitment, okay?
Okay.
So for now, I just want to give you 3 big tips. Was that helpful?
Yeah, that was.
And it'll be very, very different. By the end of the 7 weeks, you'll notice when you do the role play, when you get on the phone with some people, you'll do a lot less talking. You'll be mostly asking questions, and then they will be doing 80% of the talking. And one more thing before we go, okay? $750 is way too little. It's too fucking cheap. Like when you're talking to a real estate company, we're talking branding. Like $750, in my mind, this must be shit. It cannot be good. For $750? Hell no. You ain't touching my marketing for $750. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I'm gonna teach you how to close, but your pricing needs a little bit of work. Okay?
I do. I definitely need to fix that.
You know, and then the whole order thing, it's a little bit unclear. I know you're trying to make that up on the spot, but it's a little bit unclear, and I can sense the lack of confidence. $800, right? I'm like,
yeah.
Is it together? Is it on top? Like, no, it's separate, right? So I find it funny, but you know what I mean. So you gotta. And one more thing, when you go back and listen to the call, what we just did, when I specifically ask you about price, you dance around a lot. So what it tells me is you're not comfortable asking for that kind of money yet. Forget big money. I'm talking $750. I asked you how much. You were talking about, well, usually 50% deposit, and you dance a long time, and it's only afterwards. So how much? Oh, it's like $750. A lot of hesitation. So there's something tells me internally you're not comfortable with money. Okay. So I need to work on that. So I'm going to coach you a little bit on that as well. Okay. So good job. Wonderful.
Thanks, man.
All right. So did you learn something from that? Put in the comment box. That was just a simple role play about how a typical sales call would go. And did you learn something from the coaching? What I just taught Mario. Aaron is clap. A round of applause for him, not for me. He did a very, very good job. I'm telling you, it's not easy when you have a few hundred people on a call, on the spot. He has to do this. I mean, it takes a lot of courage, okay? So Kayvon, would you say from a sales call point of view, from a 1 to 10, 1 being terrible, 10 being fantastic, that's a what?
Because I've closed, being honest, because I've closed for brokers and real estate agents, I have to be honest and say that's like a 3-4. There were really good things in there, and then there were some things that need to be tweaked. What I did notice, if anyone noticed near the end, the energy shifted more. Where not only did you become defensive, you actually became not only did you become excited, you became like really defensive. You started to kind of raise your voice a little bit at the end of your sentences and try to prove your point. Because mind branding's the best. Well, what do you mean you don't know if you're brand? Like there wasn't a flow, but it's okay. Because here's the great thing. you're in this program, and like I said, and Dan just alluded to, by the time we're done this exact course right now, you're gonna go, oh my God. And what I see from you is natural talent. What I see from you is hunger. And what I see from you is a little bit of experience, and that's something that Dan and I cannot teach. So if we can marry that with our skills, with our tools, you will. I will personally work with you because I've worked with brokers. I'm going to watch you be able to become the number one in your company. That I can promise.
Very, very good, very good. Now that's coming from Kayvon, so thank Kayvon for that, and good job. And that's why the more you participate, the more value you get out of it. So in order to be a high ticket closer, you need to think about this, okay? Number one, you need to be kind of like a psychologist, a bit like reading people's mind, okay? You need to learn how to read people's mind, the way that they talk. Number two, you got to also be a little bit of an actor and actress. It's very, very key. You need to be able to learn how to control your emotions. That's what makes you a closer, a high-ticket closer. Okay. Now, why don't you want to be excited, by the way? Kathleen is asking. Well, should I? Oh, boy, that was being excited. I thought I was mellow. So people always, you want to be very, very excited? No. Think about when you go to a doctor. It's a professional. When you go see a doctor, how does a doctor sound? That's how you want to sound. When you go to your doctor is not like, I hope not, hey, so good to see you. How you doing? Ooh, sit down, have a seat. How you feeling? You got a little bit of fever? Ooh, I got some pills for you. Man. I got some good pills. Buy one, get one free. Right? Let me write some prescriptions. Right? Do you want your doctor to sound like that? A lot of enthusiasm, so excited? No. How does your doctor sound? Okay. Tell me how you're feeling. Okay. A little bit of pain on the shoulders? Well, move your shoulder a bit. Okay, now breathe. Okay, let me see. What about temperature? Let me measure your temperature here. Okay. How long have you had that? You've had that for a while? Okay. Any other areas do you feel pain? This area? Scale 1 to 10. How painful do you feel when I squeeze here? Okay. That's how a doctor sounds. Okay? So that's how you should sound. Write this down. Tonality is key. How you say something is much more important than what you say. I can say the exact same paragraph, modulate my voice, and you can have totally different effect. And I'll show that later. I'll share that with how that works. But for now, knowing that you got to learn how to control your tone. Okay? You got to learn how to your tone. It's key. Very, very key. So understand, you need to learn how to read people's mind. You learn how to be an actor and actress. Combine that, you are a high-ticket closer. High-ticket sales rule number 2. You always answer a question with a question. Say it with me. Always answer a question with a question. No specific information is given by you until you have determined that there is a profitable, what's the word? Profitable reason for doing so. The same pitch all day to people who are willing to occasionally listen but have not been qualified is a waste of time. It is emotionally draining, redundant, and unbelievably boring. How many of you have done this before? Same pitch every day to people who are not, who don't listen to you. They have not been properly qualified, and you felt draining, redundant, and just like fucking boring. How many of you experienced that before? Right? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? Repeat after me. And when I say repeat after me, I mean say it out loud, for God's sakes. Okay, I don't care. I know your time zone. Maybe it's late at night or it's morning. Doesn't matter, because when you say it with me, when you participate, you remember more of the lesson. So when I say repeat after me, I mean actually say it, verbalize it. I don't care if you're in a public place. I don't care if you're in your room. I don't care if you're in a bedroom. I don't care if it wakes up your kids. Doesn't matter. Repeat after me. The less you talk, the more you sell. The less you talk, the more you sell. So doing this right, you should be doing very little talking. The prospect should be doing 80% of the talking. You're simply asking questions and listened. Asking questions and then listened. That's it. And we ask questions for 3, how many? Come on, how many? 3 specific reasons. Number 1, discovery. We need information, ASAP. I need to know what are their needs, what's going on, why are we talking? I need to know that. I need to discover their needs. So I need information. I ask questions to get information. When I am talking features and benefits, I am not getting information. Just like what Mario did, he is guessing what I want. He has not found out about, as a brokerage owner, what the hell do I need? What do I want? He's pushing his service, like kind of shove it down my throat without understanding my needs. Number 2, control. The person asking the questions with finesse can direct or lead the conversation and work smart to get to the bottom line fast. So you notice throughout the whole thing, I was asking most of the questions. Most of the questions. Okay? Number 3, motivation. I need to know their motives. What are their pain points? It can be discovered or created, and I'll show you how to do both. Prospects, they need to get involved and they need to get excited. I don't need to be excited. I need them to be excited. They need to be excited in order to give you the order today, in order for them to buy. We need to change a passive prospect to someone who is ready to take action now. So discovery, control, and motivation. Making sense? Selling is all about asking the right questions at the right time with finesse. That's what selling is. Selling is not about talking fast, being slimy, using manipulation, all this bullshit. No. Selling is about asking the right questions at the right time with finesse. That's it. Trevor is asking, does there always have to be a pain point? Yes, and I'll answer that in just a moment. Why? So different types of questions that we have. We have open and closed-ended questions. We have negative and positive questions. We have opposite direction with finesse questions. And we have the I don't know questions and many more. So I'm going to give you a few examples of the different types of questions. So think of these questions. These are your tools. These are the tools, okay, that you can utilize anytime. So closed-ended questions. So these type of questions usually calls for a yes or no response. Okay, yes or no response. And you are not trying to get information. It's more like, hey, example, Mr. Prospect, are you happy with your existing supply of widgets? The prospect will either say yes or no, right? So if I'm asking you, hey, have you seen that movie before? Yes or no? That's a close-ended questions. Close-ended questions. And then you have open-ended questions. Now, this would be the type of questions where you get to respond to your prospects a little bit more involved, right? Open-ended. And you can gather more information. So they cannot simply say yes or no. So example would be, how much revenue is your website generating for you on a monthly basis? Or in Mario's case, well, so tell me, how long have you been in business? How long have you been in real estate? How many agents do you have working under your company right now? So the goal is to gather information that can be useful during your qualifying step, okay, during the whole qualification and motivation process. So we have closed-ended questions, we have open-ended questions, redirection question with finesse. Now, pay attention to this. This is a little bit more advanced. Usually, prospects, they're a little bit skeptical, right? They hold their poker cards very close to the chest. The prospects are unwilling, and in many cases they don't want to share too much. They're afraid to tell you too much information. But you need the information to help them, to direct them. So sometimes they might give you answers that are not quite the answers you're looking for. You might need to redirect that 2, 3, 4, 5 times to eventually get to the truth. And I'll demonstrate in just a moment. Well, how the information, the things that you need to properly qualify the prospect. So the budget is a very good question. So I'll quickly demonstrate. So Kayvon, be my prospect.
Okay.
I would just pretend I'm you, and you look for a closer, a group of closers. And
okay, I'm looking for closers. Okay.
Yeah, you're looking at your influencer. Yeah. I'm Kayvon. I'm gonna try to sell you 10K, but I just want to do the budget. I just want to show them that one chunk. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
So pretend we've been talking now, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes into it. You know me, I know you. We've established some kind of rapport. I understand your needs. Pretend we've done all that. Okay.
Yeah. So Dan.
I'm asking you.
Okay.
So Kayvon, John. Let's go, John. John, let's pretend that I could help you to find 2 or 3 closers for you in the next 30 days, and kind of put them on your sales team. They help you close some of these sales that are coming in, and because I know you have a lot of leads coming in. Do you have a budget set aside to pay me or someone to help you solve this problem?
Well, I mean, I have a little bit of a budget, but I never really thought of that.
Like rough numbers. Are we talking? How much are we working with? Are we talking about like 5,000, 10,000, like 20,000? Just rough numbers.
Well, probably somewhere probably around the 5,000 to 10,000 maybe.
Okay, like 5 or 10.
Probably like 5.
Okay, that might be an issue.
Well, what do you mean?
Yeah, we charge a lot more than that.
Well, what do you charge?
Yeah, a minimum is like 10K to start off with.
For how many closers?
3.
I thought you said you were a commission-based company.
Yeah, we are. The 10K gets credit 100% towards when they close sales for you. It gets applied to the commission. It's just to show a little commitment, to know that you're serious and I'm serious to help you solve this problem, right?
Okay, so I pay the 10K up front, and then if you close for me, then instead of me paying you commission, that just comes off that.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel a little bit better than the $10,000 up front. Now, Dan,
pause on the play. Don't go into the whole objection thing. I just want to show them. You see, so from there, ask Kayvon, let's pretend I can do A, B, C, and D. Do you have a budget set aside? The prospects almost always say, no, I don't have a budget set aside. Well, I know you don't have a budget set aside, but hypothetically, multiple choice, A, B, C, and D, how much are we working with here? Oh, maybe, A and B. Okay, is it A or is it B? Well, more like an A. So you see how that works? So I ask multiple redirection questions with finesse to get to the truth. So roughly, he knows about $5,000 to $10,000, right? We're talking about.
So a little deeper there, to add to that, Dan. Is if you're selling a product or a service for $10,000, the best thing that I like to do is, if it's a $10,000 product, is okay. I mean, would you be comfortable spending, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000, maybe even $20,000? The reason why I do that is I say $20,000. They're thinking in their head, oh my God, I might have to spend $20,000. But really, $10,000 is all I want.
Correct.
But if I said just 5, 10,
Now all they're focusing on now is
10.
the 5.
Yeah, and then all they have to do, like, 10 is too much, so I'll only spend a 5, right?
And that's I don't want 5, I want 10.
Yeah. So I purposely gave him like 3 choices because chances are he'll pick the one in the middle. The psychology of that, let me just go into a little bit. It's kind of like you go to the car wash, right? You may go to the car wash, they have these 3 choices. You have the minimum where they only kind of wash the exterior for hypothetically like $10, and then they would wash the exterior, vacuum the interior for like $15. But for $100, they're gonna wax your car and all that stuff, right? So most people would not go for the $100. They don't want to go for the $10. Kind of feels like a loser, so they're gonna pick the one in the middle, $15. That in marketing and sales, write this down. It's called the strategy of 3 boxes. So all of them 3 boxes, they pick the one in the middle. So keep going, Kayvon.
Yeah, I was going to say that the car wash gets me every fucking time, man. I go in for the $7 car wash, and then I upgrade to the $24, and then I go scroll down, and I get the extra $5 pre-wash, the $5 Arm & what is it, Ham & Armour Shine Wash, and then the $3 Rain-X. The next thing you know, it's a $45 car wash every time. $7 it says on the sign.
That's right. That's right. So that's what we're talking about, right? So think about that and think about the questions. So knowing sometimes you might need to ask multiple questions to get to the truth. Okay? High ticket sales rule number 3. Very, very important. The minute you're on the phone, you need to start thinking about, you got to put your prospects on the grading scale. So when I'm talking to someone on the phone, you need to think about on a scale of 1 to 10. What are their needs? How strong are those needs? So 1 to 5, what it means is very low needs. Okay, very low needs. 6 to 8, there's definitely higher needs. Interest. 9 to 10 means they are high needs, passionate, urgency, ready to buy. Now think about the conversation I had with Mario. Right, Mario, that I was probably, would you say, Kayvon?
Yeah, that 2 or 3.
Yeah, maybe 2. I think 2 or 3. Right. So when the prospect is on the phone, when you have not bring them up, and you bring them up by asking questions that bring up their needs. But if you haven't done that properly, everything that you do, you're just trying to push whatever you want to sell. That does not work. You need them to go up to that 8, 9 level so you could close them. So the minute you talk to someone on the phone, you know, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where are they? I think it's a 3, it's a 5, right? So here's what you do. This is how you utilize this. When it's lower than a 5, you always use what I call reverse psychology. What are the 2 words? Reverse psychology. This is a psychological technique where you appear on the service to be asking a question in an unexpected way. But in reality, you have the prospect to give you the answer, response you desire or were hoping for. Okay? So reverse psychology. And you're keeping the prospects off balance to lead them to their own logical conclusions. Let's see if I can bring Desmond in just a minute to do some role play, if Desmond.
Yeah, just been waiting patiently, Des.
Let's try some of this. So I want to kind of show them a little bit how this works.
Okay.
How about this? Desmond, you will be the closer.
Okay.
Okay. And Kayvon, you will be a prospect, and you are. Let me think. You know what? Just to keep everything simple, let's pretend you are applying for HTC.
Okay.
Okay. And I want you to start off kind of like a 2 or 3, and I want you to pay attention to this. How Desmond uses reverse psychology, asking questions, going to opposite direction when it's below a 5, and then when Kayvon gets a little bit more interested, a little bit later on, a little bit more motivated, how he asks different types of questions, kind of discovery questions to bring up his needs. So I want you to hear the whole thing. This is like not scripted or anything like that. Usually the conversation, the sales call, this is usually how it sounds like. So let's start from the beginning. So Desmond, you're the closer. Just be Desmond, what you always do. And Kayvon, you be someone who's looking to learn a new skill, and you're looking to be a closer. Okay. Go for it.
Hey, Desmond.
I'm sorry, who's calling?
Oh, this is Kayvon here. I'm calling because I had booked a session with you.
Yes. Yeah, what can I do for you, Kayvon?
Yeah, so I was watching Dan's webinar, and it said for me to book a call if I was interested, and I see that Dan's teaching the closing course or the high ticket closer, and I wanted to know a little bit more about it.
All right. Well, Kayvon, I've only got about 30 minutes here, so here's how today's going to work, okay? I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and don't hold back on anything at all. I want you to be as upfront with me as much as possible. I'm going to try to figure out whether or not this is going to be a good fit for you, okay? Now, if it is a good fit, great. If it's not, no sweat off my nose either, okay? Now, one thing I definitely don't want you to do, though, is as we go through this process, you hold back on me, or you start sugarcoating things, or even as we get towards the end, you tell me something which I definitely do not want you to do, and that is to say, let me think about it, or I need to check with someone. Because if you need to do all those things, you better do that now before we even get started, so I don't waste my time with you. Right? Can we agree on that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Awesome. So why don't we get started? Maybe just, since I don't know who you are, give me a little bit more about your background and how did you discover Dan? You said you watched the webinar and stuff like that, but how did you find out about Dan, and who are you? What do you do?
So, well, I just graduated university. I've been working as a banker for about 6-7 months now. And I've been following Dan actually since my last year in university. I watched him from his YouTube channels, and I love his philosophies of high ticket selling and closing. And then when I saw this opportunity, I watched the webinar, and I wanted to see how this how this could relate to my life right now, and where they could take me.
Interesting. What are you taking right now, university?
Well, no, I just graduated university, so I graduated with a BBA. Which is basically landed me a job at the bank.
Great.
I'm looking to work up as a banker into the stock exchanges in the next couple of years.
Well, you've invested all this time and money, obviously, to get your education, and now you've got a job. Why would you want to do something different with Dan?
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm here. I want to see what this is all about. It's not so much I want to do something different. Maybe I can do this. I said I can do this part time, so I'm thinking about making some extra income on the side on the weekends.
Well, I can tell you that that's going to be a problem, right? Dan's looking for people and closers to work on the team. He's definitely not looking for someone to just come in and I'm just thinking about it kind of thing, right? So which one are you? Are you just thinking about it, or are you really serious about wanting to learn this?
Well, how can I be serious about something that I'm not really familiar of? I don't know what it is that Dan's offering. So can you tell me more about that?
Well, what do you want to know about it?
Well, what is high ticket closing? How does it work? What is the cost of it? The training, he says it's live. Do I have to come to Vancouver? Because I live in Toronto, so.
No, you don't have to come to Vancouver. But you tell me, what do you know about high ticket closing? What does that mean to you?
Well, it means closing high ticket offers, I guess. Like Dan said, working with influencers, people like Dan, and being able to close our high ticket offers over the phone, and as a result, getting paid. I guess paid good money for that.
So, what if Dan is able to teach you how to do that? What would that mean for you?
Well, in what way? What does it teach me to learn how to close over the phone?
Well, yeah. You just said it, right? You just defined what high ticket closing is. If he was able to help you do that, what would that mean for you?
Well, it would add extra dollars to my bottom line, which would be nice. Eventually, if I can make the money that I want to make, then I would be able to maybe even get out of the banking industry. I'm not in love with what I'm doing, but it definitely pays me well right now, and huge opportunity for growth. My boss loves me, and I'm actually, in the next to get a promotion.
That sounds good. Why not stick with that? You're getting a promotion. Your boss loves you, right? Tell me more about that. What is it about that you don't like?
Oh, well, it's not that I don't like it. It's just at the end of the day, it's a 9-to-5 job, and I'm not a 9-to-5 kind of guy. Sitting in my monkey suit Monday to Friday, I don't know how long I can take that for. And to be honest with you, I'm sick and tired of being with dead broke people at the bank level.
Really? Even in the bank, I thought you deal with a lot of people's money.
No, well, yeah, a lot of people with who has no money at
Oh
this
wow.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you want to do? I mean, if you didn't have to wear that monkey suit, if you didn't have to be dealing with all these broke people, what would you rather see yourself doing?
Oh well, I rather see myself, like if Dan said, working 3-4 hours a day, making a 6-figure, 7-figure income, and being able to enjoy my money, my time, and my freedom, being able to give back.
Wow, that sounds great. What would you do with that freedom? Where would you go? What would you spend it on?
Oh well, first thing I would do is take care of my mom. I love my mom. She's always protected me, so I'm dying to just be able to pay off her mortgage, and then I'd probably invest the money I have into real estate to duplicate my income and to duplicate my my net worth, and continue going there, and maybe one day working more full time with Dan. Who knows?
Now you've mentioned to me, you want to work with Dan 3 times, but you also mentioned your mom. Tell me more about your mom. I mean, you didn't mention anything about your dad. I'm sorry to pry into your personal life, but I'd like to get to know who you are before we accept you into this program. What is it about your mom? You want to pay off a mortgage. What did she do for you in your life that makes you want to do all this for her?
Yeah, so I mean, my mom's just been my number one supporter. I mean, me and my dad, we have a relationship, but when I say I help my mom, it's really helping my mom and dad. They've, they don't come from a lot of money. They've done everything they could in their best efforts with the little resources they had, but unfortunately, in my eyes, it just wasn't enough to provide the tools I needed, the tools that I wanted to be able to succeed. And now I feel that with time and with more income, I can be able to provide them what they did for me. They've sacrificed a lot for me to be where I am today, and I just really want to repay them back. And I think that would be great. Be able to help my sisters out. At the end of the day, be able to make 6 figures a month. I can do a lot of things with that. I can invest in real estate. I can help my mom, my family out. I can buy my house, my dream home, drive my ballin' car.
What kind of car do you want? Name off some models, or do you have a specific one that you like? What color would you like to get?
Yeah. So I mean, dream car right now is the RS7, Audi, fully loaded, black on black, 21-inch rims, the Bang & Olufsen sound system, $150,000 car, 700 horsepower under that beast.
Yeah, that's a lot of power. I mean, how does that make you feel? Is it, you pulling up in that with your girl, maybe even pulling up to your parents' house, check and mom here, don't worry ever again about that mortgage. How would that make you?
Make me feel pretty damn good, man. Make me feel like a success for sure.
Let me ask you, Kayvon. I mean, so you seem like a pretty motivated guy. I mean, you're doing this for a reason. There's a deeper reason here. You're doing this, it sounds like you want to help your mom, you want to do all these things, but I think from what you're telling me, you want to do this so that, you can feel like you're the person that you've always meant to be. And right now you're kind of caged up at this. Yeah, you did the 9 to 5 thing and you did what everyone asked you to do. Am I getting anywhere close to that? Is that what was the reason why you wanted Dan to even help you so that you could get all these things?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of it for sure. I think just the reality of me being able to work, with someone like Dan, or even understand the skills that Dan has is one thing. I mean, for me, is at the end of the day, the webinar was very clear: is 3 to 4 calls a day. If I can close 2 or 3 people, that's a $10,000 a week. I mean that's $8,000 to $10,000 a week is what I'm looking to do. I'm not making that right now. Do I have potential to make that? Yeah, but I mean, how long do I have to wait till I got to get there? And how much more do I have to wrap a tie around my neck before I have to get there too?
Exactly. You tell me that. I don't know. You can tell me that. I personally would not stay another minute wrapping another tie around my neck.
So Desmond, it sounds all great, but like, what does this look like? How much is this program?
How much do you think it is?
Well, I mean, I think the webinar said something about like $2,500 or $3,000 or something.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, that's a lot of money. I mean, that's basically what I make a month.
What do you want to do about it?
I don't know. I mean, what can we do about it? You tell me. Is there options? Is there a way? Like, is there a way that, how about this? I'm pretty motivated, like you said, and I'm hungry. Can I work, maybe learn it, and then whatever I make in commissions, I'll just pay the program, and then, I'll even pay double. So, I mean, if Dan wants $3,000, I'll pay $6,000 after I make it. I'll tell you this, Desmond, if you let me go through this program, I will be your number one closer. Oh, I will make you look really damn good in front of Dan. In fact, Dan will be pretty happy that he has me on his team.
You know what, Kayvon? I know what Dan would say to that. Dan always says people pay attention to what they pay for. And as good as that sounds to me, you know what also sounds really good to me, Kayvon, is that you sound like a top achiever. Now, how do you think you would look if I went to Dan and I said, Dan, I just got on the phone with this super top achiever. I mean, he's confident. He wants to get this. And then after that, he comes back and he negotiates something where he can't pay the bill. I personally, I would not. If I was in your shoes, I would not want to do that. If I'm a top achiever with any self-respect, I would find a way. If you're as resourceful as you think you are and you want to be a high-ticket closer, can you imagine when you're closing for Dan and a customer says the same thing to you? How would you respond to that?
Well, if it was someone like I know myself, I'd maybe give him an opportunity to show what he's worth. I'm nothing like anyone else, man. Desmond, I'm like, literally, I'm one of the best there is. I'm the best salesperson everywhere I go. People love me. Dan's going to love me. I'm going to be your number one closer. Like, is there anything we can do?
Yeah, then use your skill. Go out there and close someone, get the money, and then when you got the money, come back to me and talk to me. Because I can tell you, Dan's going to let anyone in the program without them paying for it first.
Okay. So
yeah.
It's $3,000.
Yeah, I'd love to help you out. I'd love to have you as a champion on my team, but you got to step up. You got to have some skin in the game first.
Okay. Is there now, Desmond? Like I said, that's like my entire month's paycheck. Like, is there a way you can help me at least break down the payments or something?
Well, what are you proposing?
I don't know. Is there some sort of? I want to know, does this even work? Like, here I am getting excited on something. Do we even know if this works? How do I know that I'm going to go through this program with Dan and I'm going to be some sort of closer that's going to learn these strategies and be able to make the kind of money that you're saying we're going to make, and to be able to do that?
I don't know. You tell me.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
You don't know if I'm going to learn? You don't know what? You don't know if you have the skills, the tools?
I don't know. I know Dan is very successful at what he does. That's why people pay him a lot of money to learn the skills that he's got. But I don't know you. I don't know whether you're going to show up. I don't know whether you're going to make excuses. I don't know whether you're going to apply what he teaches you. I don't know whether you're going to have an ego. I don't know whether or not you're going to be there for all 7 weeks. I don't know whether you're going to actually, do the homework assignments. I don't know whether you're going to actually practice and do all the things, do the actual work. But hey, you said you're a top achiever, so I don't know.
Okay. So if I show up, if I invest, listen to Dan, you're telling me that I'll be able to make this kind of money?
There are no guarantees in life, Kayvon. Is that what you're looking for?
Well, no, I'm not looking for a guarantee. I'm not expecting a guarantee. I know guarantees, they come from me first. I just want to make sure I'm in good hands.
Do you trust Dan?
Well, I don't know. Should I?
If you're coming from that angle, then we're not doing any business. I can tell you that if you want Dan to help you, you got to dig real deep, Kayvon, and ask yourself, how much do you trust this man to help you? How badly do you want to get out of that 9 to 5? How badly do you want to stop wrapping that necktie around your neck?
Okay. So what can, is there a way that we can break this up into payment?
Well, I asked you, what can you come up with? And I'll do my best. I'll see if I can talk to Dan, or I'll see what we can do to make it work for you.
I think I can do, I don't know, like $800 a month.
You have to try harder than that, Kayvon. I think 800 is a little bit low. What can you do? Can you cut off some expenses? Something that something you don't need for 7 weeks. Come on.
All right. Okay, the most I can do is $900 then. $900 a month.
Try $995.
So you want me to pay $1,000?
No, I'm not. I don't want you to pay $1,000. You want to pay Dan $1,000 so you can learn and so you can get out of the bank, so you can give that check to your mom and pay her mortgage.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. So $900. for the next, what, 3-4 months?
$9.95. Yeah, you pay those in 3 payments. Dan's taking a huge risk on you. Think of it. In 7 weeks, you could run away and not even make your second payment or third payment.
Okay.
How do you think that's going to make me look to Dan?
Well, I don't want to do that to you, Desmond. That's like I said, I'm going to make you look like a rock star, make you look like a champion for bringing me on.
Now, are you a man of your word? Like, are you one of those guys that when you say you're going to do something, you actually do it?
Yeah, that's why I'm here. I showed up, didn't I?
Okay, so I'm not going to hear some excuse, I get Dan's approval, we go ahead and do this, all of a sudden, oh, wait, Desmond, I got second thoughts, or, I had some family emergency come up. None of that.
No, like my girlfriend always says, excuses are like assholes. Everyone has one. So I don't make excuses.
You're not an asshole, right? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, so how do you want to do this?
I don't know. You tell me. What does that look like? Do I have to pay right now?
Well, let's just say I am able to process that right now. How do you want to pay for that?
Well, I guess I got to put it on my credit card.
You wouldn't want to do that now, would you?
Well, not really. But I guess I'm going to have to if I want to work with Dan.
Am I hearing some doubt here, or are you 100% you want this? Are you a top achiever that wants to learn this?
No, I want it. I want it.
All right, so go ahead and read off the name on the card right now.
Okay. There you go.
Yep.
Good job. Round of applause for both of them. Good job. So you can see you probably need to listen to that multiple times. So there was a lot of stuff going on, but that's what a high ticket closer sounds like. We're in control. We're not overly excited. We handle objections. We direct. Kayvon was giving Desmond a little bit of like different resistance, different objections, but Desmond was using reverse psychology, digging deep. Scale 1 to 10, different types of questions. Redirect, and redirect again. That's how powerful this skill is. Could you see yourself doing this? Could you see the power of this? Imagine just when you're talking, if you can get this fucking good, when you're talking to a prospect, and you can close this way. This pretty much, Desmond, this is pretty much a typical phone call that you do.
It is. It's pretty similar to, I would say, almost 90% of my calls. I changed it up a bit this time, learning from different things. We're always evolving, but it's pretty close to what I usually do. You can ask Batch 1, Batch 2 members if you do that.
Yeah, and then you can also see how Desmond uses what Kayvon's pain points are, the different goals and different desires. So it's very, very personal. It's about what he wants to do. And anytime he can sense a bit of resistance, it goes back to his needs. That's why I said this is a very, very powerful skill. Just like Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility.
And I must admit, though, this was a little bit, Kayvon, I know, and Kayvon knows me really well, and I know Kayvon. I learned a lot from Kayvon, right? You got to understand, guys, I was trained by Dan first, but then, I also, after Kayvon came on board, Kayvon's got very unique skill sets. You guys got to listen to the way he closes as well. And don't only copy my style word for word. You got to listen to what Sifu teaches, what Kayvon teaches, and you can apply stuff that I do if you like it as well.
I was just going to say that. First, thanks for the kind words, Desmond. But I was going to say, Dan, should we show them? Like, the reality is this: is it's not about how Desmond does it. Don't listen to his words. Understand the spirit of what Desmond's doing, because what Desmond does is completely different than how Kayvon closes, and how I close is really completely than how Dan closes. Mm-hmm. Dan closes very much like a Sifu. Little less words, right questions, giggles a little bit, stays very poised the whole way, and gets the job done. I've seen it time and time again. I can't try to be like Dan. Mm-hmm. If I try to be like Dan, I'll fail. Mm-hmm. If I try to be like Desmond, believe me, I'll fail. Mm-hmm. Desmond can't try to be like Kayvon. The best we can do is understand what Desmond just did, and we're going to be doing a lot of role play, so you have plenty of time to understand the spirit of it, but you have to turn it into your voice. You have to be congruent with who you are, still knowing in all of that you're still an actor. You're still an actress. You have an obligation to be that psychologist, aka psychologist, asking the right questions. Actor by giving the right responses without getting too excited. When you feel the prospect starting to come to the end and you know that the close is there, you don't go get excited all of a sudden. Okay, this is going to be amazing. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. No, you stay poised the whole way through, like Desmond did.
Mm-hmm. So think about just the role play. Now, you're not going to get here overnight, but you can see why the way that we close is so different. It is so different that we are in control. We are asking questions. We're leading the prospects to the sale. And that's why I cherish this so much. And that's why with students who are bad apples, I'm like, why the hell would I teach this to them? Why would I give them this great power?
Yeah, that goes to another point that you trigger when you say things like that. When you learn this, and as we go deeper and deeper, Dan isn't lying when he calls it this is a superpower. The reality is this is very, very powerful, and if you understand it and you can implement it, not only can you save people's lives and you can transform people's lives and be able to offer them something they never thought was possible, you can also destroy their lives. You can also use this power for the bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, if Dan or Desmond or I or any of our people find out about it, it's just over. It is simply over. We are not in the business to hurt people. We're not in the business to take people's money. We're in the business to help and transform, to inspire, to get people from a place of pain, to get them out of their own way, getting them unstuck, just so we can give them the opportunity to move forward in their lives.
Exactly.
Give them that opportunity to be better, to be their best version.
And I'm asking all HTC family members that when you're role playing, you see in the Facebook, if you sense a bad apple, let me know. Let support know, and then that bad apple won't be around long. So I'm asking you to police like other HTC family members, because what I teach, if they don't want to learn, I don't want to teach it. If they're bad apple, they're going to use it for evil, I don't want to teach it. You with me? Can you do that for me? Just to keep an eye on people? Because I cannot possibly keep an eye on everybody, but you would know, right? Let's keep going. So when it comes to reverse psychology, that you are basically asking a questions that they don't expect, that you're going the opposite direction. Because when it's below a 5, you're asking reverse psychology questions, something like this. This is examples. You wouldn't consider changing company just to save 10%, would you? It can't be that urgent. Well, even though if I could do A, B, C, and D, you don't want to get started now, do you? Like maybe 6 months from now? You see, they're not expecting you to say stuff like that. Because every single fucking salesperson is trying to sell. Let's close right now. Let's push them. Let's get the contract. Let's get the deal. You're like, no, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this now, do you? Cannot be that urgent. You wouldn't be interested in that, would you? You're probably not comfortable spending that kind of money, are you? Nobody. No salesperson says that. And you go the opposite direction. Yeah, you don't want to sign up right now, do you? Right? So you watch them, and they are like sometimes silence because they don't know how to deal with you. They've never heard of that before, right? They're just like blank. They blank out, right?
It's like the pearls crumble.
Yeah.
So you get them more in pain. Then you got to build them back up out of it. And the rubies are like, what do you mean? I'll put the credit card down right now. You don't even have a credit card to put down, probably.
You don't want to have a credit card.
You don't have a credit
Yeah,
card.
you don't have a Visa.
Probably.
Yes, I do. What not? What's the four digits again? Right? The one with the little seagull? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. High ticket sales rule number 4. You always want to find out their pain points. You always want to find out their pain points. If there's no
They're all in pain.
yeah, if there's no pain, there's no sell. If there's no pain, there's no sell. If your prospect is in pain, but you're not uniquely qualified to fix that pain, then there will be no sell. So they're in pain, they've got a problem, they're looking for a solution, but you cannot provide a solution, there's no sell.
Dan, can I chime in on this part here? So like again, our role play was an expedited role play. I know that Kayvon is a major proponent on pain points, and he will dig deeper and train you guys more on that. I learned it also from Dan. I touched a little bit on a scale of 1 to 10. If I want to value myself as any kind of closer of any worth, I did not really get into Kayvon's pain points on that role play. I got into just a touch of it, just to demonstrate a little bit of it, but a real closer would dig even deeper and get more pain points. Just to give you guys, I mean, Kayvon, what did you think? You're the big one that teaches a lot about pain points. How do you feel I did on my pain points?
I think you nailed it. I think because you knew we were under a little bit of time, and I was trying to answer questions that would help you lead to it.
Yeah.
But I know you, and I know Desmond would dig deeper. But yeah, at the end of the day, no, Desmond didn't dig deep enough. I mean, he kept reiterating back to me being in the suit. Not wanting to be in the monkey suit, me helping my mom. The one place he dug really deep was when he said, how would it feel when I would drive my car? But you can go really deeper and kind of say, okay, so let me ask you, Kayvon, what do you think your life will look like if 2 years from now you were wearing that monkey suit day in and day out? And for some reason, maybe you didn't help your parents. Then what happens? How much more of that can you take? See the difference? Remember Dan said tonality? See how my actress here. Now we're not doing this again. We're not doing this to be decisive, to be rude or whatever the word I'm looking for is to be ignorant. But the reality is if you want to make a sales, you got to be an actor. So I'm not saying, hey Kayvon, I mean, what would your life look like if you didn't make sales and you couldn't help your parents? Huh? What do you think? Versus, hey, Kayvon, I mean, did you ever thought about what would happen if you didn't help your parents? I mean, what would that look like for you? I guess working at the bank, it can't be that bad. I'm sure you don't mind putting that suit on for the 700th time this year. You see the difference there?
You hear the tone, the tonality, empathy, connection. Slow down. You got to practice this. Think about this, okay? When was the last time? You mean you were being sold all the time? Think about any retail or one-on-one, or you're buying something on the phone, whatever it is. When was the last time you talked to a salesperson that sounds like that? When was the last time you talked to a salesperson that actually asks you questions, be patient, listen to your needs, and just want to connect? Just think about it. Think about all the salespeople you've dealt with your whole life. How many people do that? That's why I said we're high-ticket closers. We're not just some fucking salespeople. We're different. So let me continue. If you're uniquely qualified to fix a buyer's pain, but your prospect is not demonstrating the commitment to fix it, in this case, you can sense a little bit of Kayvon and Desmond, that Desmond is kind of pushing him and using reverse psychology. Well, you don't want it that bad. It seems okay. What's wrong with that? If they're not demonstrating commitment, Kayvon is doing okay, you know what? Let me make the money. I'll make you proud. I'll pay you back. Kayvon wasn't demonstrating the commitment to fix it. It's talk. Then there will also be no sell. But Desmond didn't let him get away with that. He didn't let him get away. He didn't let him escape, and Desmond didn't buy into his old bullshit. He was saying, skin in the game. You're in or you're out.
He did that really well with just even for me, like as a Ruby, as someone who I definitely would have said that. The strongest response was, "What do you think Dan's going to say? How am I supposed to tell Dan that you're committed, but you're not willing to actually put in the investment? You think he'd appreciate that?" But what do you think if someone said that to you on the phone?
That's right.
That's all you have to say. Those two things right there will literally shut down anybody.
Hmm. And that's also why last week's training is so critical. You cannot do this if you have negative association with money. You cannot do this if you have negative association with sales and closing. You cannot do this if any of those mental garbage, because if you don't believe in what you do and what you sell and your offer, and you're morally obligated to sell, and you can't help them if you don't sell them. If you don't have all that foundation, this script, the questions, all this stuff doesn't mean shit. Because you can't say it. You cannot say it with conviction. You cannot say it with confidence. You cannot. Why do I spend 2 fucking weeks just on mindset? That's the foundation. That's everything. 3 levels of pain. 3 levels of pain. The first level is this, what I call service pain. So goes back to Mario's example, that role play. The intellectual problem identified. What's the service pain? Rebranding, your strategy, clarity, all these things, right? That's service pain. And Mario didn't even get to that very deeply, quite frankly. He didn't ask me questions, and that's okay because it's the first role play. But notice, he didn't even identify what's my service level 1 pain. Level 2, business or financial pain. So in this case, goes back to Mario's example. Maybe I am struggling to attract agents to my brokerage. Maybe I'm struggling to attract clients. I need better branding to attract higher level affluent clients. Maybe that I want to be able to charge higher commission than other brokerage because my profit margin is getting eaten up and because of the competition. But Mario didn't know, are those things true? Does he know? Does he not know? But he didn't ask the questions. Mario, you got this? So level 2, that's level 2. Business, financial pain. Level 3 would be personal pain. What's the personal pain? The personal pain could be, you know what, man, I've been doing this for 12 years, running this brokerage. I've got 2 business partners. Oh my God, man, I gotta, we have constant conflicts because the company, we're making a lot of revenue, but there's not enough profit. And it's like a struggle. And both of my partners, they're my lifelong friends. And we always argue. When before we were high school buddies, and we thought we were going to do this together. We've been doing this together, for many, many years now. And we built this company together. And now we fight over money, fight over employees all the time. I just wish things would work out. That we can take company to the next level, attract better agents, attract better clients. We can just go back to things that they were before, the way that they were. Just having a beer, watching a game. How good would it be able to do that? That's a personal pain. It has nothing to do with the business. It has nothing to do with the how much money they make. It's the personal pain. You can identify that, you can close anything. That's why he's buying. I'm just giving you an example. So the deeper that you go, the more motivated they are. You see what I'm talking about? The sales conversation, please remember this. The sales conversation should not be a pleasant experience for your prospects. They should not get off the phone and say, yay! No, maybe a little bit at the end after they made a decision, but you look at Kayvon and Desmond, that role play, does that sound like a pleasant experience for Kayvon? I think it's a pleasant experience for you guys listening in, watching the 2 closers battling each other, right? That's entertaining. But for Kayvon, it wasn't pleasant. But Kayvon, when you were playing prospect, what emotions were you feeling?
Well, I was feeling almost guilty that I wasn't.
Guilt? Okay.
Yeah,
Guilt?
I was
What
feeling
else?
almost guilty that I wasn't where I already should have been. Right? The thought of me having to go back to work after I said I hated the monkey suit was it was depressing.
Depressing.
It was hard.
Guilty. Yeah.
I felt like a failure because I couldn't, I haven't helped my parents yet.
Yeah.
Right? And I felt almost like a fraud because even though in that position I said I wanted the RS7, I didn't believe that was even possible.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to make a disclaimer here, Dan. When Dan says a sales conversation should not be a pleasant experience for your prospects, that doesn't mean he's saying as a closer you're not pleasant to your prospect.
Yes. Yes.
I really because I've seen this, Dan. It doesn't mean you act like an ass or a dick to your prospect.
No.
What Dan's saying is the deepness here is Dan saying if you ask the right questions, that pain point questions, the questions on him struggling with his business partners, that won't be a pleasant experience for the prospect. Not because you are creating that for him, but with your personality, but because you're creating that with the right questions you're asking him.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be very, very, very careful on what this means to you and how you perceive this, because it's very important.
Albert is got a good question. What about luxury products? What feelings should those conversations have? It's still pain. The pain when you buy luxury, because I get that, and my Jenny definitely gets that. The pain is not having that, right?
just simply not having it.
It's not having it, or it's the last one, or you're missing out. It's more an exclusivity type sale. Remember, when you're selling luxury product, that is not a necessity. It's just it's a nice to have. It's a very nice to have, but it's a different kind of pain point.
It's a status thing, right, Dan?
It's a status thing. It's a different type of sell, but the same principle applies.
Well, Dan, it's so funny because when we were out suit shopping the other day, I don't know if you picked up on it. Maybe you puck-sowed me back. You countered back on what I did, but you remember the ketone suits? I was dropping some trial closes on you there, where I was telling you that Keton is like they make maybe 24 suits in the world, or they when they have that one sheet of fabric, or these guys have $2,000 neckties and stuff like that. I was dropping that to you because I know that you go for the exclusive stuff. So I was like, but then when we went over there, obviously the colors and stuff did not match you, right? So we went back to Tom Ford.
Yeah, that's right. So that's what I'm talking about, right? So here are some good questions. You got to role play and memorize and practice, okay? How to discover pain. Tell me more about that. Can you be more specific? Give me an example. Well, how long has that been a problem? What have you tried to do about that? Desmond said multiple times. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And did that work? Here's a good one. How much do you think that has cost you? How much do you think that has cost you? How do you feel about that? Kayvon uses it. Desmond loves to use it. How do you feel about that? Notice the word, feel. It triggers emotions, right? It triggers a response. How do you feel about that? Well, I feel blank. Have you give up? Not how. Have you give up trying to deal with that problem? So these are some examples of questions. Some examples of different questions. Now, I can tell you this. When you're doing role play, when you're closing on the phone, a lot of HTC, even graduates, they have problems going into just deeper level of pain. They may be able to learn how to do level one pain, asking those questions, but most are not very comfortable going to level 2 or level 3. My question to you is, why do you think that is? Why do you think most closers, they're afraid to go to level 2, level 3?
They don't even go near it, Dan.
So my question is why? Type in the chat box. Why is that? Why they're afraid to go deep? Tom is saying too personal. Jacob is saying afraid it would push away the prospect. Fear. Aaron is saying they're scared because they're scared. Okay. Fear of offending the prospect. Tim is asking the paying practice is almost like having them confess. Awkward. If you think it's awkward, it's going to be awkward.
Client can get defensive. You don't want to scare the client off.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's painful for them.
No, that's close.
Get uncomfortable themselves or might feel guilty.
So, Kayvon, why are they not? Why are they afraid?
They're afraid. The closer's afraid to go deeper with the prospect because they're afraid they're going to see. It's basically a direct reflection of what they are and what they see in themselves.
Listen to that. Let us think in a bit. They're afraid to go deep. They're afraid, especially the pearls. I'm talking to pearls. Especially when the prospects are feeling so much pain, you're afraid to go down there with them because you will feel the pain. And there's some deep pain buried within for some of you.
And yeah, I can't agree more. And then for the Ruby side is, so I have a closer on my team who's, I hope he's listening to this because I talk to him all the time about it. He's a little bit of a Ruby, and he's one of those guys. I don't get pushed around. I don't let people push me around, blah 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 bullshit. And because he doesn't let people push him around, he's too scared to push other people around.
Mm-hmm.
But yet he's not closing.
Mm-hmm.
Literally not closing because of that. He's too afraid to get pushed because he feels if he was the one on the other end, he'd be pissed off and hang up. And I say, good. At least you went there. I'd rather you get hung up on because you asked the hard questions than not ask the questions at all.
So when you're role playing, you notice this stuff will come up. It's exactly closing is like a fucking mirror in front of you. You've got some deep pain you haven't dealt with in the past, it will come up. Just like no different than Mario. I role play with him for what? 10, 15 minutes. Just from the role play, I could tell. Problem with money. Afraid to ask for big money.
Definitely.
Negative associating problem with money. Probably negative association with sales too. I don't even need to go deep. I don't need to ask those discovery questions. From the behavior, I could tell the belief system. So I can give him the script, say this. But he would try to say it, but say in a way that it doesn't project that confidence. It projects the insecurity.
You can't fake it.
Oh, when you role play, you see your belief. It is so obvious to your sister and brother. It's not even funny. It is not even funny. You've got a problem asking for big money. It would show. You got pain. It would show. You're afraid of confrontation. It would show. Like so clear. In one line, it would show. That's what I'm talking about. You don't believe in what you sell, it will show. You're full of pride, you think you know everything, it will show. I know everything. I have all the fucking answers. Piece of cake. Try it. Try it. Right? Kayvon?
I was going to say, when you personally have so much clarity, I call it the 3 C's. It's on both ends. You as a closer and the prospect. You have to have clarity. Clarity is, I'm absolutely clear that this is the right product for me and Dan is the answer. Confidence. I am confident in myself as a closer that this is going to change their life. I am confident in a prospect that I'm doing the right thing. I'm confident in myself that I know I have the ability to do it. I just need to know the answer. And number 3 is the conviction. I have so much conviction. They will be able to hear the conviction from your voice. When you ask for $750, it's not, is it $750 in 95? It's $10,000. Boom. That's it. Oh, well, that's a lot of money. Yes, it is a lot of money. But let me ask you, what are you going to lose by not doing this? How many times have you said to yourself, it's a lot of money, but yet year after year, you find yourself in the exact same spot? Isn't it time we start changing that story? Conviction. They have to have conviction as well. The 3 C's. Clarity, confidence, conviction. These questions, please, now you're getting me started, Dan. These questions that you see in front of you, these are not the only questions. Don't get hung up on the words, because there's so many times I see people that they don't listen to the answer, that they're worried about the next question. And it does come off awkward. It does come off wrong. It comes off painful. It's not about memorizing the questions. It's about listening and hearing and asking yourself, what more do I need to really define, to figure out who this person is and what their pain are. Like, what real pain are they in? Because prospects, he's going to talk about it, they do something. They lie to you. They also do something else that we'll talk about. And it's up to you as a closer, a master closer, to cut through all that shit. And you cannot. You will never be able to cut through it if you can't cut through your own shit. If you can't cut through your own mindset, limiting beliefs. How in the world can you ever cut through someone else's and then ask them for $10,000 when you don't even believe you're worth $10,000?
Mm-hmm.
And I say that with conviction because Dan knows I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Dan was there at 19.
Yeah. When what's the first price point that you were selling for? The first couple program?
Oh, me?
You remember the first big, like the first, was it $10,000 sale?
No, it was 15.
The first $15,000 sale. You was like, what the fuck, right? 15.
I couldn't. Yeah, like it was $15K.
Yep.
That was a hard, and I'm talking $15K to people that didn't have money.
Yeah.
So I had to. Here's the thing. Why? Well, how did it work, Kayvon? I had to fucking believe very hard. I had to believe in my heart that if they go to this was a 4 days, $15,000. These people have never invested a penny in themselves. They don't even have the money. I was talking to people that had to get 3 or 4 loans to get there. You better believe that I had to believe in that product. I had to believe that if they got to that event and if all they did was show up and listen and show up with no ego, that it was going to change their lives. And I truly believe till this day it would, because the results speak for themselves. The only reason why it would fail is not because I failed them by getting in the program. It isn't because the instructor was going to fail them by delivering the program. It was because they were going to fail themselves. And I was willing to take that gamble because I know I can rest at the end of the night knowing I did my best. I provided a road. I provided an opportunity for someone to change their lives. Now, if they didn't go through it because they had such deep limiting beliefs, I can't get beat up on that one. That's not my fault anymore. That's theirs. And that's something that, you know what, that lesson that they might have to learn, they're going to learn it hard. But if they're resilient, they're going to bounce back, and they're going to use it in their story like I do. I failed my first 8K program. I failed my first 20K program. I failed so many programs, I was $150,000 in debt. That doesn't make me tell people not to invest. That's what gets me to drive them to invest in themselves. Because I know when you invest in yourself, you're going to get it. It's going to happen. And then it starts with investing in yourself so you can invest into your prospect. And be able to listen, tie this all right back, and be able to listen long enough so you can know what the next question is going to be and answer it.
Mario has a good comment here. I feel all these emotions. I don't think I ever felt this way or even felt this vulnerable. That's okay, Mario. I feel the growth is painful, but I need to see this through. The fact that Dan could tell what my beliefs, I couldn't pretend it wasn't. It was all there, laid bare. That's why it's not about closing. It's not just about closing. It really isn't. It's not about just bumping up your price. It's not about $750. It's not about $10,000. It's not about positioning or branding, all this shit. It's just the product or service you provide. It's not about that. Truly, it is a self-discovery journey. And the work that I do. So Mario, don't worry. Got your back. You see, by the end of this, just think about it. It's painful right now. And of course, I'm just talking to Mario and nobody else. But what if you can overcome this? What if you can master this skill? Just imagine the confidence that you would have. Nothing could stop you. You could do this. You could master this. You can overcome this. Not just charging a little bit more money. Not just closing with more confidence. Just imagine you could do this. What else you could do in all other areas of your life.
Sifu?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when you first started training me? I think Mario, even on this call, I applaud him for coming on. I mean, the guy must have been freaking nervous as hell, but do you remember when you first coached me how bad I was? Right? So, I mean, if you can turn me around, I think you can certainly turn Mario around, right? And Mario, I mean, you came on, I must admit, I mean, hey, you didn't do all that bad. I mean, you know, considering that you didn't have any training, I mean, you know, yeah, you took a stab at it. That's how you learn. In fact, the people who raise their hand and actually get on the role plays, the ones that get out here and actually are willing to take the criticism, but then go back and listen to the recording and then try to improve, and then, you know, don't try to improve 100 things all at once, but improve one or two things and then go back out there. I've taken so many criticisms, not criticisms, but like critiques, you know, positive critiques from Dan, from Sifu. And that's why I've never given up. I've never taken it personally. And I'm just telling you, Mario, man, you're on the right trajectory. Just listen to what Dan has to teach you and just keep coming back for more.
And when I said Sifu is going to help you, I'm going to help you. I don't see that likely. When I say I'm going to help someone, I'm going to help someone. So we've got your back. The whole family's got your back. The most positive prospects is the most dangerous. Now, the kind of prospect that you think are the most excited, example, when they get on the phone with you, the first few minutes, they're so excited and they're like enthusiastic, like a 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10. The only direction that they could go is down. The only direction they could go is down. So those are you got to be extra cautious and extra careful. Because you might think, well, you know what, I got this. No problem. Oh, it's an easy sell. This person is ready to buy. No, you got to be very, very careful. So let me give you a perfect example. So I'm going to be a prospect. Desmond, same thing. You'll be Desmond, Sergeant Desmond. You'll be also closing HTC. I'm going to be John, okay?
All right, John.
Okay, so I'm going to be John. I'm going to be like I'm just the first little part, or just for the first 2-3 minutes. I want you to hear the difference. Like, I'm very excited. You might think I'm ready to go, but listen to this, okay?
All right.
Ring, ring. Oh, hey, Desmond. Is this Desmond?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Who's calling?
Oh, this is John Smith. Oh my God. You are Desmond. You're the Desmond Soon that I see in Dan's video. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm talking to you. Oh, I'm so excited, man. I'm so honored, man. I'm talking to you. Whew. Yeah,
great.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Dan. I mean, I've been watching all his video. Oh my God, I can't believe, like, whew. You hang out with Dan a lot, right?
I do. I definitely hang out.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah. So I mean, I can't wait. I want to be mentored by Dan, and I'm ready to go. Like I'm ready to get started. I want to.
Second, John, just a second. Now I've only got 30 minutes here, and I can see how excited you are.
Oh my God, 30 minutes! I thought, holy shit! I thought you give me 5 minutes. 30 minutes. I'm honored, man. Yes.
If you continue like this, John, it will be 5 minutes. In fact, it'll be about 5 seconds before I hang up. So, John, I appreciate your excitement. In fact, I love your excitement. We love working with people who are excited, but there's no guarantee that you're getting to this program yet, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'll do whatever it takes, man. I'm ready. Like I'm committed. I mean, I can be on the phone. I can learn. I can whatever it takes, man.
Okay. Well, before we get to that, John, why don't you tell me more about yourself and tell me slowly. Calm down a bit. Yeah, just breathe.
Okay. All right. Yes.
I'll do my best to help you out, connect with Dan. Okay. So, but hey, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Now, the one thing I don't.
Oh, it's gonna work. I'm gonna make it work, man. I'm gonna make it work.
All right. Fair enough. Now, I'm taking you on your word. If you say you're gonna make it work.
Yes.
I don't want you to make some excuse at the end of this call, right? Like by the time we get off, I don't want you saying, "Oh, I need to talk to my wife."
No, I don't need that. I don't have a wife. I'm single.
Great. I'm glad. Well, do you have any parents or something? Do you have to ask your parents for permission?
No. I'm living on my own.
Great.
I moved out last year.
What's stopping you from, signing up for the program?
Well, I don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Why is that a problem? Isn't Dan looking for closers? I could close. I could learn. I could role play. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll make money. I'll give Dan. I'll even give Dan most of the commissions. It's okay. I just want to learn from him.
That sounds really nice, but Dan's looking for committed people, right? So
I'm committed. I'm 100% committed.
Well, then you got to take care of the fees because Dan always says people pay attention to what they pay for, right? And right now you don't sound very committed to me.
Oh, okay. Pause off the role play because we can go on and on and on with this. But I want you to get the idea. Okay? Super excited, super enthusiastic. Sometimes it will throw you off guard. Even so, Desmond a bit off guard, right? He's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah. Yeah.
He's trying to be calm, but sometimes when you have a prospect like that, I'm exaggerating to make a point, obviously. But you have prospects. Oh, I'm a referral. I heard that you're the best of the best. I mean, you come highly recommended. Then your guard will be down, and guess what happens? You will forget to qualify them properly. You think, okay, let me just tell you the price. Let me just go directly into the sale. No. You go through the same fucking steps. Scale 1 to 10, where they are. Below a 5, reverse psychology. Above a 5, bring up the needs. Qualify them. I'll teach you how to qualify them, all the steps. But you don't miss the step. I don't care how excited they are, how highly recommended they are coming to you. It doesn't matter. You follow the same steps. You don't skip anything. Because you would be tempted to, oh, this is easy. I got this. This prospect, he's ready to go. I don't need to do all of that stuff. I can just ask for the money. That's how I lose the sale. And I learned this the hard way. Because I was, sometimes when you have so much social media, like even back then in my 20s, I would say, you know what, people, they know me, they've seen me, or it's a referral by a client. I don't need to ask these questions. I don't need to qualify them. And every time I skip the steps, every fucking time I lost the sale. So I'm passing on these hard-learned lessons to you. Okay, do not skip the steps. Do not skip the steps. Are you getting this? Okay. The 3 magic words, ESP. Repeat after me, ESP. 3 simple words. It reveals the gap of where they are and where they want to go. ESP stands for exactly, specifically, and precisely. And I want you to think about how you can use these words when you're asking those discovery questions. You just insert them here and there. Exactly what kind of results are you looking for? What specifically have you done in the past to try to generate more sales? Precisely what were you hoping to get from me today? ESP. Exactly, specifically, precisely. People buy things because they have a present or future need that is causing them discomfort, aggravation, and more. Prospects who have no passion usually have a lack of interest. They have no emotional investment. Their needs are low or non-existent. Our job as a high-ticket closer is not to convince them. Either we ask questions so they can convince themselves, listen closely. We ask questions so they can convince themselves. If they cannot do that, what do? We get off the phone. We don't waste time. We disqualify them. That's what we do. We don't twist people's arms. We don't try to manipulate people. We don't try to push people. We're much more like a doctor. Hey, you know what? You want it? No. You want it? No. You want it? I can help. Not like, you don't want it? Let me tell you why you should want it. You should want this. Why don't you want it? Don't you see? You should want it. No, you don't want it? Next. You don't want it? That's okay. Next. You want it? Sure you want it? Are you sure you want it? Okay, I can help you. That's the mentality that you need to have. Listen to what I just said. That's the mentality you need to have. People only buy things to escape existing or future agony. Underline, bold. People only buy things to escape existing or future agony. It's only when their needs become so strong that they are willing to take an action, be proactive, and buy your goods or services. It's only when their needs become so strong that they are willing to do that. Can you believe we're 3 hours in? My goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me sip some green tea here. Wow, my goodness. I have one more rule to share with you, and then I'll go into the assignments for this week. Are you learning something new? Just put in a chat box. Is it a little bit different than typical sales? Good. Very good. And I think this is one of those classes that you got to go back to and listen to multiple times. Truly multiple times. There's a lot that I've just shared today. Kayvon, have something to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say that like there's so much little nuances that we did in this call that you have to go back and you have to listen. And like I always said, it goes back to the fundamentals. If you don't understand the fundamentals, there's nothing that we can do to help you to be better on the phones, because it's like a foundation. It's like building a house. A house is only as strong as its foundation.
Actually, I also want to ask for the HTC graduates, put in chat box, are you getting new distinctions? Are you having a better understanding now second time around or third time around?
New aha moment.
Yeah, new aha moments. Matt is saying second time listening to week 3, still grasping it good. Completely different, overwhelmed but ready to absorb. Yes, good. Mind blowing. Yes, Jeffrey. Always something new. Yes, because Stephen knows every time I teach it, a little bit different. Good. Okay. High ticket sales rule number 5. Now, how many of you watched the the GEM training video? And how many have done assignments? Give me a big yes. You've done the assignment, you filled the form, you filled those questions, knowing what's your your personality type. Actually, put in a chat box. Let me know what's your personality type. Especially the observer. You know who you are. Put in a chat box. Say hi. What's your personality type? I am a ruby. I'm a pearl. I'm a sapphire. Oh, I'm confused. Which one? Ruby, pearl? Ruby, pearl? So emerald. Nice. Nice.
Who knows what my gemstone is?
Actually, that would be interesting.
And who knows what Sifu's gemstone is, and who knows?
Well,
what...
I know they know because I talk about it in the video, right? That's not fair. But yeah, guess what Desmond's gemstone is?
Sifu Ruby, Matt Tran, it's in the video.
Video.
Ruby Pearl, I'm a Ruby. Desmond is in the video.
What do you think about Kayvon? What do you think Kayvon?
Yeah, nice try. Nice try.
Kayvon's a pearl.
Yeah.
I like people. I love people.
That's right.
I'm in service.
So I'll share with each and every one of you a secret, but first I'll let Sifu teach this part here. It's absolutely critical, guys, because this has been one of my secrets. Being a good closer, and I think Sifu can. I don't want to toot my own horn, but it is one of my areas of how I do well is that I connect with people because I get to understand their gemstones.
Yes, and it's I think it's a strength, a skills that Desmond has that he could identify and know how to talk to different personality type very, very quickly. So approaching people with their primary gem is very important. Your initial approach when you're on the phone with someone, it sets the stage. What's the word? Stage for your conversation or sales call. So imagine if you're talking to a pearl. Actually, let's just have some fun. Quickly, like a 30-second thing. Kayvon, Sapphire, Super Sapphire, okay? Desmond, okay. Pearl. Let's just have, yes, Desmond, you are the prospect, okay? Kayvon, you're closer. 30-second, go.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you.
Is this Desmond?
Yes, it is.
Desmond, how's it going, man? What's going on?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. You see, did you see the disconnect? Now try the other way. Desmond, Ruby, and Kayvon, Pearl. Try that.
And I'm prospect?
You're still you're
I'm still a closer, and I'm Pearl. Okay.
Pearl,
okay.
Desmond, prospect, Ruby. Go.
Okay. Yeah, hello? Hi.
Is Desmond there?
Yeah, no, this is Desmond, yes.
Hi, Desmond. This is Kayvon here from Dan's Lock Office. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Now, I've got a couple of questions about this program. I was trying to find out some information.
Oh, okay. What kind of information do you want to hear?
Are you the person that I'm supposed to be speaking to first?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, can you tell me how much the price of the program is?
Yeah, the program's $24.95. Are you interested? How can I help you?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Also, play. It's okay. You see, there's that disconnect. You see the problem? It's not what you say. It's that you're not talking to them the way that they want to be talked to. So when you engage them with their primary gem, you're treating people the way that they want to be treated instead of how you want to be treated. So if you're Ruby, naturally, you talk like Ruby. If you're Pearl, naturally, you would want to talk like Pearl. If you're Sapphire, you're like, hey, man, you talk like Sapphire. Or you're Emerald. You want to talk like Emerald.
So it's not just that's amazing too, right? It's not just about that. It's also the next level too. Is when you're speaking to a pearl, when you're speaking to the ruby, when you're speaking to an emerald, it's also the questions you're asking.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to ask different questions for each gemstone.
That's right. So you have to understand all four. So let me go through this, and then I'm going to give you a little surprise. So how do you connect with a Sapphire? When you connect with Sapphire, you want to be what? Upbeat and friendly. Sapphire, they have high energy. Now, but then you just said, don't be too excited. You don't want to get overexcited, not have too much enthusiasm, and now you want me to upbeat and talk to a Sapphire. I am confused. Good. You should be confused. So how does that work? You tell me not to be excited, and now I need to be upbeat and friendly when I'm talking to Sapphire. So what's the balance? Kayvon?
Yeah, so the balance is, again, is being able to speak to a Sapphire with a little bit of more of an energy like this, but not sound like a typical salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It's about being able. So with a Sapphire, again, Dan says that. I don't think we've covered it just yet. Is play with resistance.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with a Sapphire. Go with them for a bit. Go with the dream. Talk about how amazing. Oh my God, man, how amazing is that RS7 going to be? Tell me about that.
Mm-hmm.
700 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
That's whoa. Mm-hmm. And then you go from whoa, I'm agreeing with you. Okay, but what is your mom going to think about that car?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you also notice, you see the way that your Sifu teaches. I don't always like to give answers. Anyone who's been with me long enough, it's my style. I like to make you think. Sometimes I like to see you struggle a bit. I much prefer to give you some questions to explore versus very black and white and you do this and you don't do that. That's also why we have different closers, but Kayvon, Desmond, and I think about it, it's the same methodology, but the ways that we close are very, very different. All work, they're just different. And I think that's I'm proud of that because I think a good teacher should teach the students how to explore different things and not just, here's an answer. That's very academic, right? That's a school system. Kayvon?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it goes even deeper with the sense that, and I truly mean this when I say, like, Dan, that whole saying is, teach a
man a fish.
Yeah, teach a man to fish, or give a man a fish. Yeah, give a man a fish, he feeds him for a day. Teach a man to fish, he feeds him for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And really, that's what Dan's really is teaching us. There's so many times I want the answer. There were so many times that I had called Dan and said, "Hey, what's going on here?" And sometimes it was in silence. He gave me the answer, or he gave me the direction of the answer. And it's the same thing as if I just keep answering your questions, or if I keep just answering your objections for you, heck, I might as well just do the work, and you're never going to learn.
Yep.
And you got to go through it. You got to go through that pain. Just as much as the prospects got to go through the pain, you have to go through a pain and have to go through that as well, so then you can come out and be strong and be the closer.
This is very important. I know the Emeralds are taking lots of notes. The Sapphires are maybe not taking as much notes. They think, this is just being recorded. I'll just get back to the recording. Sapphires, if I were you right now, I would be taking lots of notes. This is going to help you to make or break your closing, right? The Rubies are going, just hurry up, get to the point. And the Pearls are like, Desmond is so kind. He's always giving all these tips and stuff. No, seriously, the next few slides here, guys, take lots of notes because it's going to set the tone of your closing. It's going to set the tone, the questions that we mentioned before about what you ask and how you asked it, right? So, in the role play I just did with Kayvon earlier on, I changed my questions because I knew he had some Sapphire Ruby in him. And so I adjusted my questions to irk the Ruby, and you'll see different things here. But I also knew he had some Sapphire, so I did pick up my tone. If you listen to the recording, at some point I did start to pick up. As he was a little bit standoffish at first, then he starts to tell me about his car and stuff. I started to pick up with him. I didn't get overly excited, like, the other example of the overly excited Sapphire, but I did get a little bit excited with him. And then we take it back down. This is what Kayvon's talking about, right? So as you go through these slides, you're going to see tips that Sifu is going to give you.
Mm-hmm. Actually, Kayvon, why don't you do the Sapphire? Because you're a Sapphire, coming from a Sapphire.
Do the like right here, how to connect with Sapphire? Yeah, so again, as you can imagine, with my energy, we want to be upbeat and we want to be friendly. Again, when here's a good one. When Dan means smile, 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 really, like I said, the prospect, you're a direct reflection of what the prospect's going to feel. So if you're sitting there slouching down and just talking to a Sapphire, and I don't know if you can actually feel it. I literally just slouched down right now. Versus if you get up and you stand up and you talk a little bit more with a little bit of that oomph, not sounding like a typical salesperson. That's what he means by smile. Smile. Keeping things simple. Don't get into versus emeralds. Don't get into this is what you're going to get, and then you're going to get this, and you're going to get this, and then if you do this, you're going to get that. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear the promised land. I want to hear about what the dream's going to be. I want to hear what my life's going to look like when I'm driving the car. I don't care about anything in between except driving that car. Let them talk. Sapphires love to talk. So if you find yourself, if you're a sapphire like me, this is one of the hardest things you're going to have to do is to shut up and just listen. Because you're going to want to go, yeah. No, just let them have fun. Like it's like a roller coaster to them. Speaking to you, like I physically look at it like it's a roller coaster. It's up, it's down, it's around, it's upside down. It's everything. Show them your fun side. Don't be so where Desmond's very Sergeant Desmond. That literally, if you do it too much, what it feels like to the prospect is like you took the winds out of their sail. Or you pop that balloon for a sapphire. So it doesn't work. Again, you don't want to be too friendly. You don't want to be too upbeat. There's a fine line. And sapphires are attracted to positive people, so you don't want to be a negative Nancy. And really, yeah.
On that note, right, because we've actually done this with Batch 1 and Batch 2. Many of you guys, this is the disclaimer, you misunderstand that I'm, if you just hear Sergeant all the time, you might think I'm Ruby. When actually, my true colors are actually more sapphire and pearl. I put on the Ruby, I put on that Sergeant when I play the role of director for Dan, okay? And we'll cover this in further lessons when we work with you guys on this, further classes. But, I purposely put on that role. I have to be the cock block. I've got to be the gatekeeper, right? I've got to be that tough guy at first. But if I deal with a pearl, I will soften up like crazy. I've worked with influencers like Dr. Joe Vitale and people in law of attraction and, esoteric stuff, and I'm crying on the phone with them, and I'm like, and they're getting off the phone to me and they're saying, oh, Desmond, thank you so much. And that's because I put on my pearl at that point, right? Or I've got on the phone with emeralds and I get really deep into statistics and precisely, and here's the structure, right? And, you have to do that and you have to adjust to each prospect that you speak on the phone with, okay?
Mm-hmm. Very, very good. What about pearl? How's pearl?
If Andre was here, Andre would probably want to do the pearl, but that's an interesting.
That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So yeah, well, pearls are courteous, right? It's about relations. It's you want to keep your tone and your voice a little softer. And actually, with pearls, if you're speaking with them, you actually get them to also talk. It's like the sapphire, but pearls will open up more on a relationship. They're empathic. They want to connect with you more. Ask them questions so that you get them to share more information about themselves. Ask them about their family and their reasons and their why, and oh, really? And, and how did you, what would that mean to you and how would you help people with it, right? So share your caring and your nurturing side. And they're very attracted to people who are giving. So you'll notice sometimes, even with Mario, what I just did with Mario just a few minutes ago when I chimed in, I say, hey, Mario, we're here to support you. We're here to help you, right? That's a little bit, I'm not saying Mario's a pearl, but that's a pearl-like thing to say. What can I do to support you? What can I do to help you succeed? If a pearl comes on the phone and say they don't have any money, yeah, I know how you feel. Geez, what can I do to help you? It's a little bit more pearlish. Okay, so it's that kind of tonality and changing your vernacular. You're changing your words to fit with the gemstones.
I'm gonna give you an extra bonus here with what I love about pearls, is because pearls are always they're selfless. They're not selfish. They've always given themselves and given themselves out, and people have either taken advantage of them or they never know how to say no. So what I love to do with pearls, is my little secret trick I do, is I get them to open up. I get them to tell me how many times they've done things for people, like especially with the mothers. They've like a lot of pearl mothers, they've given up their dreams really at the young age to take that mother role on. They've let their careers go. Some of them maybe have let their bodies go. They've let their dreams go because they care so much about watching their family grow up, watching their kids grow up, make sure they're supporting their husband. And I get them to open up, and then the way I can get them, connect them, and get their ruby out of them is basically I say, well, isn't it time you start taking care of yourself? and reclaim that woman, that mother that you once knew you could be, to be that strong, independent woman who isn't just building a dream for everyone else, but finally can step into her dream, into her greatness, and go after and stand on a platform that you know you're capable of. It works all the time.
That's a great line. That's a line you got to listen to again. That's a very, very good line. But again, it's not just what you say; it's how you say it.
And when you say it, you just can't go saying that. Like you can't. And I laugh because I see people like they're going. We're going to be in the role play, and people are going to be trying to say those words for words, and it doesn't work. Again, those are my words because I actually mean that. Even though I say it's my little trick, I actually know that I look at my mother. I look at Kelsey, who's given up her dream for me. I can relate to that. I can be empathetic to that. But I also know my mother, Kelsey, they have dreams. And at some point, they need to stand up on their platform with their microphone and say, now it's my time. Now, all of you that have been supporting, but that have been supported, you're not going to support me. Mm-hmm. And I believe that within my heart. And that's why I can say that with, again, conviction, the confidence, and the clarity.
That's right. What about Emerald? Now, Desmond actually is interesting. Desmond has a little bit of Emerald in him too, but not his primary gem. But I think it's so. Some of you might have your Pearl or your Ruby. Think about if you watch the video, the Sapphire and Pearl and Emerald. So Sapphire and Emerald, they are the opposite. So Pearl and Ruby also, they're the opposite personality. So sometimes you see spouse, you see a Pearl or a Sapphire married to an Emerald, right? Or vice versa. Or sometimes you have a spouse that is a Pearl that also married to a Ruby. It's kind of how the opposite attracts. But so usually what happens is you have your primary gem, but maybe your parents are the opposite, and you pick up some of those traits from your parents. It's not your natural self, but you kind of pick up some of those skills. So Desmond, just comment on that quickly.
I think my dad is very Emerald, and I picked it up a lot from my dad. The respect of time, be professional, being in the military trained me that way. Ask more specific questions to really get them to open up and talk to you. Don't be a chatterbox, right? So the Sapphire me is the chatterbox. But then because, I was around my father, I was always sort of, I wouldn't say beaten down, but I was trained to make the Sapphire feel like being a chatterbox is a loser. Being a chatterbox is talkative. So yeah, that is actually a weak point. When you talk too much, it's like a weak point. Mm-hmm. Then it's only later on that I realized if you talk the right way, then it can be a strength. Yeah. But I was raised to think that. So, I was trained to, there are times when I actually will hold myself back when I want to get Emerald. But Dan knows that sometimes I get overly caught up in the process or the structure of something. Right? And that's the Emerald side kicking in me, rather than the Ruby side of me, which will be more specific. Let's just get to the point and, economy, emotion, and so forth. So with Emeralds, you definitely want to use the ESP with them. Emeralds love when you ask them a question specifically, especially.
Very precise answer, very precise question.
Exactly. That's right.
That stuff.
It's very literal. We've got a lot of Emeralds on our team, and I love that. I love working with them. They build structure. So the Emeralds will actually, when I say to them something, they will take my words literally. And sometimes I have to say so many times with frustration, I'm like, please don't take my words literally. Try to extrapolate from that. Think outside the box. But so answer their questions directly when appropriate, right? And show them the process. Validate that it works. And they'll be attracted to people with a system to complete tasks, and get results. So just to put things in perspective, right? If we got a prospect on the phone and it's an Emerald, Emeralds will tend to ask you a lot of questions. By the way, I have one more question. And by the way, so the way to counter that, because I love closing Emeralds, is that when I get on the phone with Emeralds, I will answer their questions, but I also counter it with some answers. And I'll give them some questions as well for them to think about. Then I will give them a precise structure of how things flow, right? And I ask them a question. I said, look, if I can answer these questions, I give you the precise structure. What do you want to do next?
Very nice. Very nice. So let me continue because we want to make sure we get enough time to go through the assignments. So let me go through this relatively quickly. So how to connect with a Ruby. You want to be very confident when you're talking to Ruby, because Ruby might seem that if you're a little bit too soft, they see that as a weakness, that you don't know what you're talking about. You're not certain about your product or service. So you'll be very confident. You want to approach the situation with a result in mind. Bottom line, right? What's the result? What's the outcome? They love compliment. So compliment them and mean it, right? Because Ruby usually a very type A, high achievers type. They like praise. They like people to compliment them. Tell them success stories from existing clients, from past clients. They love to see that. They are attracted to successful people who can help them to get even more results. So they're getting results, but they're attracted to people who can even help them to get more results. Okay? So closing Sapphire. Keep it simple. Don't get too technical. Keep everything very positive. If negative stuff comes up, hand it with a smile and tell more stories. They love stories. Don't tell them all the details. Just big picture. Big picture. Lots of stories. Keep the conversation light and casual, nothing too formal. And create that vision, because they're visual, right? Create that vision for them. Closing pearl. Tell them up front that you will support them no matter what their decision is. Tell them how it helps them or the family. Listen to them. Pearls, they're a little bit slower. You got to be a little bit more patient. Listen to them. And they appreciate that personal touch, right? Take the time. Get to know them. Closing emerald. Validate why it works, but don't overstate it. Don't hype it up too much. Just be neutral. Talk about the integrity of how this idea makes sense. Emerald loves to hear that. It has to make sense to them. It could be financial sense. It could be, it just has the logical sense. It has to make sense. Talks about how it saves them money. They love that. In fact, sometimes they might make a decision based on, this will save me a whole bunch of money. They might not think about making a bunch of money, but this will save me a bunch of money right now. Okay, it makes sense. I'm in. Right? The downside is real little. If you don't know the answer to something with Emerald, don't pretend you do. Don't make shit up. Just say, that's a good question. I would like to make sure I get you the most accurate. They love to hear that. Accurate answer. Would you be willing to let me get back to you? Instead of making shit up, don't do that. Just say, you know what? Let me get back to you. Ruby, keep it moving fast. Moving fast. One of the most powerful things you can say to a Ruby is, let's bottom line this. Why don't we bottom line this? They love that. Be results oriented. Keep it concise. Keeping their goals in front of them. Remember, they love to be the first one in on something. Okay. They love to be exclusive. They love to be the first one, right? They love giving opinions and ideas. Validate their ideas and opinions and build a bridge to yours. So when they say when they say something, well, I believe it's this and this, or I agree with you. I agree with you. From there, and then you build a bridge to yours. Besides that, have you ever noticed this? Have you ever considered this? Oh, okay. You validate ideas first, and then come back to yours. So that's how you communicate with the 4 different personality types. Let's go through the assignment here. Who's ready for assignment? Give me a big yes. Good. Step number one. Continue to immerse yourself into my teaching. Momentum is an essential key to success. Binge watch, again, videos. How many videos? 10 videos a day. Minimum 10 videos a day. How many videos? Minimum 10 videos a day. The one on sales, high-ticket sales, millionaire mindset. If you finish those, watch the other ones. Very, very critical. Immersion. Don't dabble. No distraction. Immersion. Step 2, continue every single day. Be honest with me. How many have been doing this? Every single day you get up in the morning, attitude, gratitude, mid of the day, millionaire mindset, before you go to bed, program your subconscious mind for success and wealth. How many have been doing that? How does that make you feel? When you start the day off that way, or throughout the day, do you see your mind starts shifting? Your emotions start shifting. Do you feel different? Right? Every single day. Number 3, what I want you to do is to write a personal power statement. Now, batch 2 and 1, they have not seen, this is brand new. But I want you to write a personal power statement. And I'm going to upload this to Facebook. I'm also going to have my team email this to you. We're also going to upload this to Thinkific, which is your members area. So you can be able to download this. I'm also going to give you an example, what Kayvon filled out, so you can don't copy it. I just want you to give an example. What does this do? Kayvon, what does this do?
It just affirms and gives you and knows that when shit gets going and things get tough and the world says you can't do it, and the worst part, you start believing it, you go back to this power statement. And think of this as kind of like your anchor to your new best version, to your new identity.
That's correct. And remember what we created last week, a couple of weeks, right? We examined your money beliefs. We've created your vision board. We know now the vision, the new vision board, not the crappy, messy, distracted, all this crazy, like a good, clean, simple, focused vision board. This power statement is the bridge. You have your vision. I'm teaching you the skill. But this is where you make the connection. How does this skill get me to that vision? How does this skill would help me accomplish these goals on my vision board? And
I just wanted to say, they have to keep it positive. Like, so just one quick example for everyone, because it happened today. I know we got going. Is on someone's dream board, it says, "I'll be debt free." It said no more debt. And why? I said, why is that bad to have something on your vision board that says no more debt? Because if you take out the word, what do you have? More debt. And this is all about the secret, all that stuff that people don't believe in, the vibrations. The reality is when you're reading something every day, no more debt, what are you actually subconsciously thinking about? More debt, bringing in more debt. So when you're writing this, watch yourself of not writing things like, I don't want to have money anymore. I don't want to be in debt anymore, or I don't want to be driving my broken down car, or I don't want to have a bad relationship with my mother.
Right.
Because if you're only thinking about not having a bad relationship with your mother, that's what you're going to create for yourself, is a bad relationship for your mother.
Because what you focus on expands.
Mm-hmm.
What you focus on expands. You focus on the negative. You focus on the bad stuff. Guess what? You get more bad stuff. You get more negativity. So that's a power statement. So I'm going to upload it on Facebook. You're gonna get an email. Fill that out. Think it through. Connect it with your vision board. And then, of course, submit to assignments. But I would also recommend print it out and put it in front of you. Look at it. Look at your vision board. Look at your personal power statement. When things get tough, when you get rejected, when you're learning this stuff, when you get overwhelmed, how many feel a little bit overwhelmed? It's okay. Put in a chat box. It's okay. Look at this. Stay focused. Step number 4. I want you to role play with each other. We're going to open up the batch 3 role play on Discord. So we set a perfect role-playing platform for you. It's open 24/7. You can just go there. Thanks, of course, to some of our XTC family members' suggestion from the past. The link is at http://discord.hightechcloser.com. I'm going to post it on Facebook. Don't worry. You can just go in there. In fact, if you feel like it, I know a lot of people usually right after this, they jump on the phone. They just start role-playing right now. And if that's what you want to do, feel free to do that. Now, this time the way that we do it is a little bit different because batch 2, the way that we did it, I just opened up the Discord to everybody, and everybody was role-playing with each other. We found that didn't work so well because we have like new beginners, who are in week 3 now role-playing with someone who's graduated, who's got much more experience. So the way I'm doing is this. For batch 3, you will be role-playing with people who are in batch 3, same level. So you guys are role-playing with each other. Once you graduate from the program, after week 7, you're going to get upgraded. Then you can be opened up. Then you can role-play with all your brothers and sisters from all around the world. Isn't that awesome? So what I want you to do when we're role-playing as a training buddy, give them different challenges, okay? So if you are a pearl, act like a ruby. If you are a sapphire, try to be an emerald. I want you to try different personality type, because when you go outside of a comfort zone, and not just always you're ruby, you talk like a ruby. When you're ruby, now I want you to talk like a pearl, or try to close a pearl. And now you can see, interesting. That's different. That worked or that didn't work. You'll learn so much from it. And I want you to write down the different objections that you don't know how to handle. Just write it down. I'm going to give you a time to submit that probably next week, and I will cover those one by one in the upcoming weeks. So for now, don't worry about trying to get it perfect. Just do your best to implement what you've learned from this class, following those rules. I'm not giving you a script yet. I just want you to experience it. Try to understand on a scale of 1 to 10. Don't talk too fast. Take your time. Ask those open-ended, closed-ended, redirection questions. Try to adapt their personality type. Try to be different personality type. You follow what I'm saying? That's what I want you to do. And what I'm also going to give you is this. This was also not available in the last batch, only available. We just created this. It's a special prospect, kind of a jam tracking form. Also, I'm going to upload this my team's going to upload this to Thinkific. I'm also going to post it on Facebook. So every single time you're in your role playing, you can look at this, so you don't fucking forget anything. Like Desmond can talk about. Kevin can talk about it.
This is like the Bible to closing in the moment. Like, I'll tell you, I'm never had this at all. I wish this was created when I was closing.
Yes.
Like, if you're closing someone and this isn't in front of you, like, honestly, shame on you. Shame on you. Like, we're like Dan talks about buying speed. This is it. Like, we're literally shortcutting your success. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I had to close like hundreds of calls, on pieces of papers and Post-its, and before it even occurred to me that we would needed a form or so you guys, you're definitely getting something here. You're saving. It's a shortcut. It's going to definitely help you to expedite. I mean, if you have this printed out and have it in front of you for every call, this has been learned on the backs of so many other closers before you, and this is going to help speed up your process.
Yeah, and then when you're role playing, use this. It reminds you exactly how to connect with each gemstone. When you're closing them, there's scales, so you don't forget scale 1 to 10, what you need to focus on, what you need to do, the goals, the pain points, solution, objections. You can write this down. It also becomes almost like a little a journal. You'll know, okay, I noticed, after 10, 15, 20 of these, you will start seeing a pattern. Pearl usually have these kind of objection and these kind of issues, right? Then you will see that. So, like the gift? Yes, nice. I can see the graduates are so excited. You guys excited? I'm excited. Isn't that awesome? So, also, of course, by the end of the program, as I promised, you're going to get a certificate from me and Kayvon, and it's not a digital thing. We're going to mail this to you. It's a very, very special gift. So make sure that now, in order to get this, make sure that you tell us where you want the certificate to be mailed to. So we're going to email you, and also we're going to post this special link. If you haven't filled this out, make sure you fill this out. If you have, don't need to worry about it. But if you haven't, don't worry about this long link. But it's a special form that you filled out. You tell us exactly the full name that you want on the high ticket holder certificate, the mailing address, your full clear mailing address, accurate, up-to-date mailing address with zip code and postal code. Now, the certificate will be sent out in June, I believe, right, Kayvon?
Yeah.
We're thinking in June?
May,
Okay.
June, yeah. It
Okay.
gets sent out. Hey, listen, here's the reality. No one's, just so you know, Dan, no one's filled this out yet because we're launching this
Okay,
the first time
perfect,
today.
perfect.
Very important for you to fill this out. The quicker everyone fills this out, the quicker we can send your certificates to you. Now, I am going to have at some point a hard deadline where if you don't decide to fill it out, you cannot come to me or Dan and say, I never got our packages, because we're giving you right now 5 weeks almost till the graduation to fill this form out. It takes less than 5 minutes, very simple, and you can go and get this form on Discord, and it's going to be in the membership on Thinkific, and I believe it's going to get emailed to you as well.
Correct.
So there's really no reason why you can't take out 3 minutes out of your day and fill it out. The quicker you do this, the easier you make all of our lives very easy.
Yeah,
Please.
it just makes it easy on the team, and also make sure that if you have if you're overseas, it also takes a little bit more time to get to you. But I'm telling you, when you get the package, my goodness, you see we're spending a lot of money on that. So it's a very nice certificate, right, Kayvon?
it's everything's really nice, and the worst is actually tell you what we've been having is we send it out to the right address, but they're not picking it up. So then it's getting sent all the way back. So literally, it's costing up to $50 to $100 to send it one way. Then it comes back to us, and then we got to send it back out. It's not even just the money; it's the time. It's taking 2 to 3 months for this to get to you because you're not picking it up from the post office.
Yeah.
So once we send it out, we'll send a message saying, "Hey, we sent it out. Be aware in the next 2 or 3 weeks that this package is coming to you."
Yeah, and if you're going to be traveling, you're going to be out of town, you're not going to be home receiving a package, let my team know ahead of the time, because then I want you to get it, right? I want you to receive it on time. Let us know maybe how you want to arrange that, and we can see if we can send it to a different mailing address. Just let us know. So any questions, just send a ticket. Let us know. Send an email to us, support@highticketsales.com. Of course, submit all the objections. By the way, you can set up the power statement, but also the objections. When you're role playing, you don't know how to handle, send it to assignments@highticketsales.com. I'm going to address all those objections that you don't know how to handle in the upcoming weeks. Okay? And of course, post questions of progress on our HTC Family Facebook group. You know the place. Again, I read every single post, especially if you have not posted before. If you're an observer, always sitting on the sideline, and not participate, and not open up, not upload your photo. We need to, if we're going to connect, how can I know who you are if you don't upload your photo? How can I help you if I don't even see your face? How can your family members help you if you don't see your face? Right? It's very difficult. So time to connect. Time to connect. How many of you are committed to connecting with each other? Put in the chat box. Next class, April 26th. We're back to Thursday, April 26th. In fact, the team and I, we are traveling. We're flying out tomorrow for a couple of days. We are attending a conference, 4 or 5 days of learning, and then we'll be back. And then next week it's April 26th, 6 p.m. Pacific time. It's Thursday, not Tuesday. Thursday. And make sure you whitelist our email. And also talk quickly, just Desmond talk about, make sure they don't unsubscribe from the email so they don't, the important information that I cannot get to them, right?
That's right, yeah. So I don't know all the details behind that, Dan, but I know that our team, our support team, they gave us some feedback saying that there were some people that had actually unsubscribed, thinking that they might have been unsubscribing, maybe say from your YouTube videos or something like that. Maybe, just kind of they felt it was a little too much for them to handle. So they unsubscribed. But then what happened was they actually unsubscribed from the email list where we actually are sending out the critical information from this course, right? So if you have unsubscribed and you're not sure, what you need to do is send an email to support@highticketsales, and just in your subject line, just say, I think I accidentally unsubscribed. And you want to make sure that you're sending that email to us from the original email that you signed up, Okay, so make sure you do that. You can address Shin or the support team and just say, hey, I think I accidentally unsubscribed, and could you please make sure that I'm getting the notifications?
Yeah, exactly. Something like this, that where we have the power statement with the new, the jam form. If you're not on the email, if you're not checking Facebook, the batch 1 and 2, then if they accidentally unsubscribe, then they're not getting this. They don't know that we have this new bonus gifts, from us, and that would be a shame because it would be a great tool to have. So make sure that you don't do that. Before we go, very, very quickly, also share with me. I always like to read your comment. Right after class, jump on Discord. You want to role play? Awesome, do that. If you also want to share with me kind of your aha moments, what you've learned, big insights for you personally, right? What it means to you, how you're going to take direct action. So share, just do a quick post on Facebook. I always like to, right after class, stay around a little bit on Facebook and just see, your aha moment. I'll love to see those. Every time I see those, it also gives me more clarity of what I need to teach next week if we're going to make any changes. I just love reading those. So, Kayvon, anything you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
I just want to let everyone know I can feel the overwhelmed with this course. Listen, it's okay. The best thing you can do right now is just take a breath. We have this. We're going to upload this in the next few days. Come back, dissect it, and just remember this is the fundamentals. It's always going to be here. It never changes. Dan has spent I think 20 years developing this. It doesn't change. It's perfected. You now just have to really understand it, take it in, and let it become you. Don't try to force it. It's really, you can't force something that's not meant to be forced. What you need to do is just honor it, get on the Discord, be open to it. It will come. It will come.
Yeah, very good. And remember, I'll see you next Thursday. Until next time, you are closer than you think.